Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Summoners War European League playoffs. We finally made it through to the playoffs, and we're here with all of the action. You've just seen those medals in front of you, which all of our players are competing for in this playoff position that they're in. I am, of course, Sam, and joined by the ever-wondrous Mr. Seishizu. How are you?
Doing very well on this Friday, not a Wednesday this time, and we're going to be here on the Friday and on the Saturday. So there's double days of very nice matches and no longer best of twos.
Exactly. We have progressed now into that playoff phase. So we've had the league phase. That's over and done with, but we don't forget about it because that was something which was getting the seedings and rankings for our playoff days. Now, obviously, for our playoff days in this day on the Friday, it will all be now best of 5 matches for the players that are going to be playing today, with tomorrow going into some best of 7s. The first time we'll ever see some best of 7s. So it's going to be interesting to see how the players are going to cope with that mentally. Physically, it's a little bit of a longer match, right? But we are going to be sticking with those best of 5s in the first part of today. So how excited are you for the playoffs?
Yeah, definitely very excited. In the end, we have seen all of these players that we see play each other right here. We have seen them play each other in the league already. So we do know the standings from the league. We have checked, and there were a whole bunch of 2-0s actually. So, but that definitely can be switched around the moment you play a best of 5. And plus, all of these players will probably be looking back at their matches like, okay, what was pre-banned? What was picked? What was like the play? What was the win condition? What were the losing conditions? And probably from there they can prepare very well.
Exactly. It's exactly what you were saying. We were looking at all the stats. Some of these guys, obviously, they had maybe some of those 2-0s, but 2-0 isn't possible in a best of 5. They're going to have to at least get that third one, and that does give chances for the other players to maybe claim back some of their own set points to obviously get further and advance in the Summoners War European League playoff days. Obviously, they're all playing as well, say, for that huge cash prize of 10,000 euros, which will be split between the top 4 players that do actually make it all the way through. We were speaking about it yesterday. Actually, the top 4 will be already we know who they are because if they get through to tomorrow, it's going to be those guys, right? So just showing how important, again, it was to really get high on that leaderboard in the Summoners War European League, guaranteeing your spot in to those top places, like our Rabarbos, like our Pinkroyd. You've also got the others settling down underneath there as well, and we'll be getting right into the action very, very soon. Interesting enough to say as well, during this Summoners War European League, we've had a total of 128 different monsters seen. So that's either in pre-bans or in the matches themselves. How crazy is that?
Yeah, that's definitely quite a lot, and that's definitely also to thank to the meta being that diverse. We had metas back in the days where it's like Mo Long is the main pick unit, everyone's gonna pick Mo Long, and then Oliver, we had it for a while, Sierra, we had it for a while. Currently, there's so many good first picks. We have seen Asher being high contested, Moore being high contested, Chandra Cigar being high contested. There's just a lot of things that are good for that early pick, and for that reason, it also gets very dynamic. Plus, we had a well range of a whole bunch of players that really want to focus on turn 1. They like to lock in those Chiwus, those Woundsas, those super fast units, and we had a whole bunch of players that were just saying like, okay, no, we're actually gonna go turn 2 all the way, locking in Cocos, locking in Smicers, all of those kind of bruiser units. So that definitely helps to get a diverse amount of picks in there.
Definitely does. And remember, guys, even though currently in the game it is Special League where you can't be using any of those LD monsters, it's the Summoners War European League. So I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing a lot more of those being picked today, and hopefully the guys have kept the same runes on those monsters in order to prepare specifically for this Summoners War European League. I mean, interestingly, you were mentioning some of the top monsters at the moment right now. We do have like Maud, Cigar, Chandra, very much picked a lot in the Summoners War European League. Maybe on the opposite end of the spectrum, just to add, we were speaking about it earlier. Let me get to it in a second. So let's have a look exactly at the standings from our past 7 weeks. After 7 weeks of our Summoners War European League, each player playing against everyone in a best of 2 format, we've got the current standings. Those top 8 have managed to gain their spot for today's Summoners War European League playoffs. Sadly, that does mean that we don't have now Angel, Adri, Hanselot, and Nicer. Hanselot, a very odd name maybe to see that low already, but these guys have really proved that they can get here, that you have to be the best to beat the best, and be the best and beat the best, everything. And it's interesting now to see how they're going to kind of change from the league format into a knockout. How is it in terms of nerves controlling yourself for a knockout competition?
Well, I would definitely say this is the point where you can't get any more losers. In the end, if we saw the matches, everyone played 11 matches, or everyone played 11 sets, and no one actually got over a 50% straight up win rate. In this case, you gotta win over 50% to actually get through on all of those matches over here. So definitely something that is a little bit more stressful. And yeah, it's the knockout. Like if you lose the first 3, then you're out. So let's see how these players can handle that today.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the actual bracket for our playoffs in front of you as well. We've got all of those 8 players that managed to get through the Summoners War European League. Remember, day 1, we are going to have a total of 4 matches today with another 4 matches tomorrow. Best of 5s for today, best of 7s for the matches tomorrow. Obviously, they're going to want to try and progress as far as they can right now to get in to the top spots of our Summoners War European League. Any of those matches really stood out to you there, say, from the previous playoff bracket that you saw?
Well, we do have Pink Red Obama. We also had them play last week in a kind of match to gets the first pick. But I think both the players at that position were like, I'm not going to show all of my strategies. I'll keep those for next week. So definitely curious about that one. But that one is for tomorrow. For today, however, we have a whole bunch of interesting matches. I would say that the top end of the bracket is mainly fast clears. We have Sam Sepa against Glorious. Both players really like to focus on that turn 1. Whereas on the bottom half, we have Tito against Guts, which is more of like a, well, I would say pretty much players that can go every route. Most of the time like to go more towards Bruiser than like a clear kind, or like a speed clear. But let's see what they actually bring. First off, we have Glorious.
Yeah, Glorious in front of you right there. So he did manage to get to rank number 5 in our Summoners War European League leaderboard. Actually, when these two guys last met against his opponent, which is going to be Sam Sepa in this first round, in their previous matches, Glorious did win 2-0 against Sam Sepa. In that first match, from what I can remember, and I've noted down, obviously, because we need to remember this, is that the wound set outsped, and then his Ren was just following up to clean all of Sam Sepa up. And then you could see in that second matchup, Sam Sepa bringing in maybe a Nem Robo to try and answer to Glorious with the Woundser, but it didn't manage to move before Ziana, and he couldn't get any of those strips. So it's like you're saying, very much it was a speed contest in the last time that they faced off against each other. Do you think Sam Sepa might be looking to do the same thing again, but this time be faster?
Well, the difficult thing is, Glorious does play around those high base speed units, whereas Sam Sepa, he definitely likes to play first pick, but he doesn't really play that with like the super high base speed units as a Wunsa, as a Ren. So definitely curious what he will showcase today. However, we have seen him try a little bit of turn 2 later on in some of the matches, but we have seen from most of his matches, he's most comfortable when he plays that turn 1, when he can play his comfortable units, that Siana, that Neftis, those Tian Langs, like all of those units that he very comfortable or very comfortable with, those are the ones that gives him victories. But can you actually use those against Glorious if you know Glorious is most likely going to outspeed you? That is a question we'll probably get answered later today.
Yeah, hopefully it will get answered later today, say. And like you mentioned as well, both of these guys do have some very strong picks. They both have that Tian Lang. We've seen already, or I mentioned before, he's actually the most pre-banned unit in the whole of our Summoners War European League. Today, I'm not sure if he might be pre-banned. Maybe he's going to be the highest contested unit for these players. As you can see in front of you, it is going to be Glorious versus Sam Sepa. Are these finally the glory days we were all expecting, or will Sam put a Sepa to them? Let's find out in our playoffs day 1, match 1 between Glorious and Sam Sepa. These guys, Sam Sepa, do you think he can really pull this around? Who's your favorite going into this?
I would say, well, I'm a statistical guy, and Glorious won 2-0 last time, so I kind of have to go with Glorious. And I think also for playstyle, I think for Sam Sepa, Glorious is actually one of the harder people to play against, simply because it's super hard countering his playstyle. If Sam Sepa had to play against any bruiser opponent, he probably is in a favorable position, but against someone that also plays the speed game, and therefore probably makes it where Sam Sepa can't really play his own game, that is very difficult with him, or for him, and we go straight into the match.
There we go. Do you think we might see a pre-ban of a Tian Lang here? Say we know Glorious has that first pick. Will Sam Sepa prevent that from being a potential steal as we go into this playoffs day 1, round 1, match 1, set 1? We've got the pre-bans in there. It's going to be the Neftis and the Shan instead, say.
Yeah, definitely 2 units that I do respect for the bans over here. Sam Sepa does have other units that can also replace the Neftis, but in the end, the Neftis is the strongest one to actually do it. Plus a steal on that more, which is also one of the core units of Sam Sepa. Taking right away a Chiwu, which is actually one of the units from Glorious. I definitely do like that over here, so we definitely have steals back and forth. Plus the Tian Lang is very nice, because Tian Lang is one of the hardest counter into a Heigang, whereas Heigang is a very strong counter into the Chiwu. So that's definitely locking that out in those first 2 picks from Sam Sepa. Let's see how Glorious responds.
Let's see how he can actually, just to mention there for you, say as well, Chiwu at the moment is currently sitting 5th highest in terms of win rate monsters for our Summoners War European League with a 62%. So when it's drafted in the right position, and like you mentioned with the Tian Lang there, countering what Glorious has decided to bring to that field is the Heigang with the Oliver, that extra speed lead.
So looking at this draft, Glorious is almost already saying, I'm gonna ban your Tian Lang, and that's a very early thing to say. So if Sam Sepa keeps that in mind, drafts the units around that position, he can actually get a very nice draft in here. Goes with a Maximilian and a Triton, so definitely strong into those units, definitely is going for that first turn, and is forcing Glorious into more of a turn 2 position with that Seimei. But we have seen the Seimei do really great work for Glorious, and in this case, Neftis would have had a heal block. Maximilian on skill 3 does not have a heal block, so it's gonna heal a lot on that Seimei, so that's definitely a dangerous target. Plus Fire Monkey, we have seen Fire Monkey do Fire Monkey things, and it's locked in.
Yeah, Fire Monkey always been around there. Sam Sepa bringing out a usual monster with the Ziana there, say at the moment. Is it going to be enough? Does it already signal that he needs to ban out that Seimei for you?
I would say you probably have to ban out that Seimei. On the other side, who do you ban out? There's a whole bunch of options actually. You could go for the damage in Ziana, you could go for the Sebeb in Maximilian. Goes for the Ziana.
Going for that Ziana. So we are going to be getting speed leads coming through right now. The speed lead of Glorious and Oliver with 33 and the Maximilian with that 24%. We're here, guys. It's our Summoners War European League playoffs, day 1, round 1, match 1, set 1. All the ones, as Triton is going to be taking that first turn.
So Triton taking the first turn. Can he push everything back? Does not get the Heigang, but also gets the turn to the Moor. Gets an additional turn over there. Actually managed to do quite a bunch to that. Additional turns back and forth. But the Maximilian is not looking that lively.
And Heigang is going to be coming online soon. Is he going to be hoping for some stuns coming out right now? Does he get them?
Ooh, that is a huge stun. Exactly that Maximilian. That was the main one that you wanted to get stunned. The monkey's online right now, and the monkey instantly takes out that Maximilian. And from this position, Sam Sepa cannot come back. It's definitely one of those comps that if you get the first turn off and everything works, you can get very far. If you lose one of your units during that process, it's not gonna happen. And I'm pretty sure that Glorious will take this victory over you.
Just adding a stun there as well right now, and the stun that didn't even matter from the monkey right now. So it is going to be a big uphill battle for Sam Sepa right now. Triton and Tian Lang probably not going to be able enough to do it for Sam Sepa here. So what do you think about his kind of work there? So he obviously did take that first turn, but was it just a bit unlucky getting that stun against the Maximilian?
Yeah, I would say if in the end he pushed back the Heigang as well, the Heigang wouldn't have moved, therefore the Maximilian would have moved and he would have had a lot more damage output potential. It would have still been the question, like, would that been enough damage to actually take out this Oliver and this monkey? That's still a difficult thing, but the match would have looked very different in that case. But in this case, we have a victory for Glorious.
Glorious with that first set win in our Summoners War European League playoff days. Now, obviously, remember, folks, it is going to be a best of 5, so there's plenty more time for Sam Sepa to come back here. Or will Glorious try and go for that full 3-0 sweep right there? So we are going to be seeing then, obviously, Neftis and Shan back in the mix for this second set. Who do you like already for those pre-bans on the side of Sam Sepa and Glorious going into this second set now?
What Glorious could do, if he really wants to contest the Moor, he could say like, okay, if I have first pick, I pick the Moor. If you have first pick, I ban the Moor. So that's definitely a playstyle that he could play around with. And let's see if he actually is going to go for that, or rather locks out one of the LDs. On the side of Sam Sepa, you might be actually looking at banning out that Seimei if you have those kind of playstyles. Glorious does go for the, if I don't play it, I ban it. And we also have an Oliver being banned right now.
Yeah, always a good thing. You sometimes know if it's a highly contested unit that you're playing off against somebody and they're likely to steal it from you. Ban it out. 2 speed leads have now been taken out as well. We know Sam Sepa has 2 LD speed leads with him, and we see that Neftis being that first pick there.
Yeah, so Neftis, so that's definitely something that you can pick up the Chiwu and Tian Lang on that side. Once again, if you go Heigang right now, which Sam Sepa probably is kind of forced to, And then once again, it's kind of a reverse of like the draft that we seen last time. We have the Tianlang and the Chiwu on the side right now of Glorious. We have the Hey Gang on the side of Sam Sepa. The only big question is, Glorious had a really strong turn 2 unit with that Fire Monkey, with that Seimei. Can Sam Sepa also try to lock in something like that?
Let's see, he's got some time now to figure out. Hey Gang is on the field for him at the moment, and he's going to partner up already with that Ziana as well. Very quick response potentially from Glorious right now.
Glorious is trying to figure out which unit moves first and what are the turn orders, because if you have the exact same speed, you do have to check which one is locked in first, or is he maybe not going to go for both? Definitely is going to go for an outspeeding scenario where a Sonya is definitely very strong. Is he going to lock in another speed lead? Thinking about the Sierra, maybe search for another speed lead, but all of the speed leads are either already picked or pretty much banned out.
Yeah, all of them were just taken out, so he's going to lock in that Adriana right there. We know how important it can be with the immunity, with the attack buff, with the speed buff, say. What's the answer?
Ooh, I do like that Ren, but also then you also have to go for another speed buff or like a speed lead unit if you want to go towards that route of still speed contesting. So maybe can go for the Sierra himself, or maybe he locks in that Maximilian. If you want to go the speed lead route, actually goes for a Leo, trying to counter that Sonya. However, Leo is decent to counter a Sonya, but it's still kind of a thing where Sonya, if Sonya is on Will or the Adriana is on Will, you can still get your skills off and it will do a lot of damage still. Looking to lock in a Vermos, definitely a very strong counter to most of the things that's on the side of Sam Sepa right now.
Yeah, he's going to be eating up all of those debuffs. Probably there's going to be some mind games when we're going into the actual ban phase right now. Do you allow them through? Can you survive through that? Say, who do you like for the bans?
I would actually say that, well, Vermos is pretty dangerous, but also just that Adriana is super dangerous. If that Leo is not on the field, then the Sonya is super dangerous. So, as you were mentioning, definitely a lot of mind games.
There we go. We've got the ban. Neftis has gone out as well as the Adriana. So we are going to be seeing them not in this set number 2 right now. Obviously, Leo will be on the field as well. Would you still take that speed lead?
I would take that speed lead if you're planning to snipe out that Leo, but I think his snipe is gonna go on the Sienna. However, a snipe on the Sienna is also not that interesting.
Let's find out. It's our Summoners War European League Playoffs Day 1. This is set number 2 between Glorious and Sam Sepa. Leo's on that field. He'll be going first.
Ooh, Leo going first, and there's no Will on that Sonya, so you can definitely cleanly push back if you actually land your skill. Doesn't land it, and there's not enough damage, but there is enough damage with this Chiwu moving next.
Yeah, nice followed up by the Chiwu, managing to dismount that Ziana. Tianlang, can he get some stuns out now?
Ooh, gets a triple despair, so we do have an additional turn from Ziana. Can probably take out this Sonya and definitely needs to at this position.
Yeah, right now Leo is going to be trying to go there into the Vermos. I think once he's got rid of that Ziana, it's going to look a little bit safer on the side of Glorious.
Yeah, definitely is. In this case, you have to go for that pushback, but you are glanced, so there is good odds that you don't actually land it. Does manage to land it, does not give enough turn to actually make the Ziana move again, and that is that Vermos taking out that Ziana.
And Vermos as well managing to stun there and adding some more insult to injury with the sleep from the Chiwu right now. Say, K-Gang following up. Is he going to be able to push back? Nope.
Nope, no pushbacks. And in this case, we're looking at the Leo. Leo's probably the only unit on the side of Sam Sepa that can give some potential chance to do anything. However, as mentioned before, that Tianlang is a super hard counter to Hey-Gang. Every time that Hey-Gang tries to boost anything, the Tianlang is going to be boosting and making sure that the enemy team is not boosting that much.
Yeah, you can see right now he's got skill 2 available again. Any more stuns? Another stun every time on that Ren.
Yeah, that Ren is definitely not doing all too much. Ren is definitely one of those nice units, but the big issue is you kind of have to lock in a second speed lead. Otherwise, your Ren is not taking fast enough turns. And yeah, the Leo, nice idea, but if the Ren would have outspeed straight up, it would have been a lot better than that Leo in this position. And in this case, we're probably gonna say goodbye to that Leo pretty soon as well.
Yeah, we're just chipping away down at the damage right now. Vermos only that skill 1 available with the glancing on as well.
Torrent range was able to take one out, but I think that these units are gonna do enough damage that makes it where you can't get another 2 torrents off, because that's how much you need to actually win in this position.
Oh, and adding the sleep from the Chiwu. That is going to confirm Glorious 2-0 up against Sam Sepa in our playoffs day number 1, match number 1, say. So interesting, he kind of came through with that Ren, but the Leo on the field as well, not managing to get that pushback on the Sonya, and then being able to dismount the Ziana was kind of something which you predicted a little bit, but then it did happen.
Yeah, in the end, if you go for a Ren and you make it super fast, you also have to make sure that you have 2 speed leads. If you don't have 2 speed leads, like the Leo is a nice idea, but in the end, the hit was still 27k. So that 27k still nearly takes out that Cyan and will take out most of the units for at least 80 to 90% of their HP bar.
Yeah, we're going into our set number 3 right now. We've got the same pre-bans as we had in that first set as well, so I wonder if there's going to be some kind of similar picks from that first round as well. Glory is probably likely to tend towards that more first pick.
Yeah, I definitely do think we're gonna see repeats. I think we're gonna see the more. I think we're gonna see the Chiwu and Tianlang once again as well. I'm probably gonna see the Hey Gang again, but that is the position where Sam Sepa probably has to start switching up. Glorious did already switch up for going more turn 2 on this position already though.
Yeah, he's going a little bit earlier there with the Mehu Wang pick. Not locked in at the moment right now, and we know Glorious as well. He's already brought out a Seimei, he's brought out a Veramos, he's ready to kind of pivot into that turn 2 at any point. Will Sam Sepa follow it up with more for that turn 1, do you think?
I think he has to go for turn 1. In the end, it is his comfortable playstyle, and I do like Glorious' style why he's not going for the Oliver. Last match around, in that first round, he didn't really needed that Oliver, and in this position he has 2 turn 2 units that he can lock in. He can once again lock in that Seimei, and then he can lock in another bruiser unit, such as that Veramos that he used in the last round as well. So this draft is looking very strong for Glorious right now.
Yeah, looking there to secure those 2 units into the field. Obviously, right now, Sam Sepa has to kind of continue with that turn 1 right now, say. Who are you liking? Does he need to maybe even try and snipe something out?
I would say something with an AoE CC. It could be a Taeyor, it could be like a Charlotte, or any of those AoE CC pushback units. Maybe even a Chungpong. Like, all of those AoE pushback units is probably what you're looking for. And then, yeah, the band still gets difficult. And probably, goes for a Dokkaebi Lord. Definitely an interesting one. I'm not sure if I'm liking that much, because the other ones, they don't necessarily just have the stun, they also have the pushback. This one slightly has the pushback, but not that much. Let's see what we have for the bans.
Let's see who we're going to get out for the bans. If we're going to see Jongnam in this Summoners War European League playoff day number 1. Let's see if he can continue with that first turn, say, and actually make it work this time. Sam Sepa is in the current losing seat right now. Glorious, if he can get this set win, he will be progressing through to the next match where he might face off against Pathic, say. Let's see the bans. It's going to be the Seimei and the Ziana coming out. So both of the guys locking in the speed leads with the Mo and the Chiwu respectively. It's here, Summoners War European League playoffs day 1. Match 1, set 3 could be the deciding factor for one of these players. Chiwu taking that first turn, say.
Taking that first turn, but not managing to land that much. In this case, we didn't get anything on the... we did get a glancing on that Maximilian. In this case, you probably want to go for skill 1, just an armor break-in. And now skill 3, even though you're glanced, you have to be looking at those pushbacks. Does do a good amount of damage over there, though.
It is a good amount of damage. Right now, Veramos is going to be following soon if that monkey can stay alive, though, say.
Ooh, that's actually a lot of damage on that monkey. So definitely is taking out the monkey. But now you still have the second battle that you have to be facing. That Veramos. Veramos is going to be taking all of those debuffs and taking a little bit of healing on that all the time. All of the units on Sam Sepa's side have some healing going on, but they also have a pretty good amount of damage going on. Plus, in this position, the Tianlang on the side of Sam Sepa is going to be the one that's every time going to be taking a lot of attack bars every time that anything else is taking attack bars.
It is, but is it going to be... I don't think he's going to die to the dot there, Maximilian, right?
No, it's not going to die on this turn, so that's definitely not the case. So it has another chance to do another skill. In this case, probably if you go, goes for the heal block. If you went for skill 2, you placed another turn of, Violet on that Veramos. Yikes. But the Tianlang is soon going again. Once again, like I said before, Tianlang is taking a lot of extra turns. And the moment, Tianlang also an additional turn. And that will definitely take out that Veramos. And a Moor is definitely a strong unit in a 1v something fight, but against the Dokkaebi Lord and against the Tianlang, that's going to be very difficult, especially with an additional turn, 2.6k, and there we have the victory for Sam Sepa.
Wow, Sam Sepa managing to respond then to Glorious as well right now, say. It's going to be a big comeback is going to be needed for Sam Sepa on the cards, but that Jongnam, like you said, doing so much damage coming through there, say.
Yeah, absolutely. There was so much damage from the Jongnam, and that's normally a unit you don't see dealing all too much damage. And in this position, it definitely did do a lot of damage.
Let's find out then. We're going into our set number 4 right now. Means Neftis and Shan are back on the field. Let's see if we get the similar pre-bans from what we actually had in the second set, being the this time changing it up. We're going to see more pre-banned, as well as the Hey Gang instead of that Oliver. So it is available on the field, but Sam Sepa, like we said before, likely tending towards the speed leads of the Neftis and the Maximilian, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely that Hey Gang being pre-banned does show it that we're gonna have a different style of match over here. And with a different style of match, it still makes it where Sam Sepa did expect that more pre-ban and therefore picked that Chiwu early as well, or had that option open to have the Chiwu early. Plus we have the Tianlang on the side of Sam Sepa once again. Definitely Sam Sepa playing that speed game, but Glorious knows a little bit about that speed game as well with that Wunsa.
Yeah, very high base speed unit, usually Glorious's fastest unit as well. Maybe to mention there, say, we were speaking earlier as well, before the stream happened, Sekhmet currently on a 63% win rate in 31 different sets at the moment in the European League. Responded very quickly from Sam Sepa there with a Barbara and a Neftis.
Barbara, that's definitely an interesting unit, and I think it's one of those units that's more picked up from the Special League, because it's one of those units, there's not too many speed boosting units that are you want to rune on very fast runes. Normally it's like the Asher having those kind of runes, but I definitely want to see what a Barbara can do over here.
Let's see, Glorious responding with that Veramos right there. We know that the heal blocks can come out from the Sekhmet and the Neftis, but it is going to be banned out anyway, as well as the Barbara. So we do have the speed lead of Oliver on the side of Glorious and Chiwu on the side of Sam Sepa. It's our playoffs, day 1, Summoners War European League, round 1, match 1, set 4 between Glorious and Sam Sepa. Sam Sepa needs to continue that winning streak that he just got. Wunsa going first.
Wunsa going first, but is that Tianlang going to follow up, or is anything else? Oh, we have that Jamire moving next. Was able to push back that Jamire actually to a perfect position where you can reset something right now. Probably has to reset that Sean. That's actually a very nice cycling. However, that Oliver is still gonna get the skills off on that Neftis.
It is Shan right now, so he got reset. He's only got that skill 1 available. Chiwu can follow up now with skill 3 if he wants, but he does know that Jamire will have skill 3 as well to do any refresh.
Yeah, refresh is definitely gonna go in there, but the big question is if you can take out that Sean to a big potential right now. Let's see if he actually... Oh, it's going to be all down on these units right now. Is that enough boost? It's still not enough boost, but Sean is gonna move next over here, and he will not die to that skill 2.
Boy, obviously getting all the stuns with the Shan right now. Can Jamire deal a lot of damage with that skill 2? It's not going to be so much right now. He's looking a bit healthy. Oliver to follow up with the glancing.
Yeah, and we have that Sean coming in soon with that skill 2, and that skill 2 does not care about glancing the moment that you're faster than the enemy. So this is going to be a huge hit. He's gonna land it towards the Tianlang or somewhere else.
Let's see. He's going into that Chiwu. 20k damage going through right now. Jamire, can he clean up the Neftis? It's going to go down to the additional damage over time.
Yeah, definitely gonna be in there. So in this case, it's still Tianlang against the world. I can see a role where Tianlang can do quite a bit, but let's see. It definitely has to take some additional turns to get back into this match. Can he take out the Shan? Does take that additional turn, but it's not enough to clear it in the first hit. That would have been so much better for Sam Sepa in that position.
Yeah, and Oliver managing to get cool time again onto that Tianlang. He is focusing all of the damage right now to get it off the field. Sekhmet versus 3 units right now, say. Sam Sepa's looking up a very huge hill in front of him right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and definitely this Jamire was one of those units that is just so strong into that Sekhmet. Sekhmet, very strong unit, can nullify a unit pretty much for taking pretty much useless turns, but that Jamire is saying like, nope, I'm going to be having a speed lead in there, I'm going to be having that reset in there, and if it's faster than the other units, it will be able to reset for those units later on.
There we go, confirmed. Glorious has won our playoffs day 1, round 1 match between himself and Sam Sepa, taking that win 3-1. He is going to be progressing into our next round of the playoffs there, say. He kind of continued what he'd done from the league, right? He won 2-0 against Sam Sepa in the league, and now he's continued it, this time with a 3-1 against him there. Obviously managing as well to kind of contain that Tianlang in the end.
Yeah, definitely. So the Tianlang was definitely the most contested unit between the 2 players. And it was very interesting to see that it was not necessarily the winning factor, but it was definitely the early drafting factor that which was drafted around. And I think in this case, Glorious did that better than Sam Sepa, and that also gave him the victory in this position.
Yeah, that's given him the victory. And he is going to be progressing now to face off against Pathic in the next step in round number 2. But before we get there, we've obviously got our second match in round 1 as well. So just want to say, obviously, commiserations to Sam Sepa. He managed to make it into the Summoners War European League all the way through to the playoffs. Here today, Glorious did get the better of him overall, but he can count himself very fortunate that he was here and he managed to prove himself. Obviously, we've got SWC later down the line in this year, say, as well. Do you think he could be around for that?
Yeah, definitely could be. I'm not sure what rank he placed in the last season, but there's definitely also the current season, which is coming right after the Special League, which all of these players are going to be competing for to get the top 8 in the European, well, region.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're all playing for right now. So his focus is going to switch right there. We're just reliving through some of those highlights right now as well. That Jongnam coming in with some crazy damage to get Sam Sepa win back again. But Shan managing to obviously stay online, getting that skill 2 squall off, managing to snipe out units, and then Jemaya just cleaning things up for Glorious. Glorious is going to take a lot of confidence into his next match, which will be against Pathic later on. But like I said, we've got another match in between as well, and it is going to be between Tito Gofflet and Guts, a Belgian versus a French in our Summoners War European League. How do you like these two guys?
Definitely two very interesting players. Guts is one of those players that does have a few LDs, but none of them are really RTA focused, whereas the player itself, Guts himself, is very RTA focused. So he tries to make all of the units that he has work, but sometimes it works out very well and sometimes not that well. So let's see how that works. But first of all, we have Tito Gofflet here. Also has a whole bunch of LDs, but those are definitely stronger for RTA. He has the Nikki in there, he has that Ragdoll, has the Gianna, and definitely use those to a very well potential as well.
Yeah, these guys, so as you've just seen there, Tito Gofflet is our first player and he is going to be facing off against Guts. These guys actually played each other back in week number 3 in our Summoners War European League, where Tito Gofflet managed to go 2-0 against Guts. Just to relive the moments from those matches, Tito Gofflet, Smicer and Juno managing to take out Guts' Meihu Wang in the first set for the win. And then in the second set, Guts' Wind Robo missed all of the stuns and it allowed Nikki to have an additional turn and use her skill 3, which we know is so dangerous right now. Do you think it's a unit that Guts is going to be scared of going against Tito?
Yeah, I definitely do think that Bella's, or not Bella, Nikki is going to be one of those units that's going to be pre-banned as many times as possible. And that's also one of the things, like if you have one of those core units, you can expect to play without it because, yeah, it's just that strong. You have that skill 3 doing an insane amount of damage, and then that skill 2 healing, that's an insane amount of healing. So, yeah, base that with the skill 1 that also gives you extra turns. There's a lot of going on for that unit.
You're saying a lot of nice things about that unit. I kind of want one now, but I'm not sure I'm going to be getting it anytime soon. Let's see then. We've got our Summoners War European League playoffs. Day 1, match 2 between Tito Gofflet and Guts. Seems anything you can do, I can do better. Beer? Champagne? Waffles? Croissants? Lydia? Oh, they've both got Lydia. You guys make your own decision who's going to be better off in this matchup. These two guys, like we said, actually Guts pulling a Lydia very recently as well. I don't think we'll see it today, but I'm praying to the gods that we might, right?
Yeah, like where Lydia fits in RTAs if your enemy is playing some kind of Samath, Lucian, Gemini, Draco, like those kind of units where they just go for an instant snipe and you're super fast, and then the Lydia can do a lot of damage from that skill to scaling of enemy speed. Then it could be there, but in this case I do expect a bruiser fight between the two players over here, with that Nikki being banned out.
Yeah, right, as well for these guys as well. So I actually think these two guys both were very highly contested in Esche during the Summoners War European League as well. So I'm wondering if Tito Gofflet is now going to be going for an early pick on that Esche, or are we going to see a more kind of the more traditional route from these players during the league?
Yeah, I definitely, I would say more bruiser style between those two players. So I'm not too sure if those two players were actually contesting cigar kind of style. Well, there we have it, a cigar.
It's always the commentator curse right there, says hit you. We've seen Cigar and Hagang coming out on the side of the field for Guts. We also know that Guts, during kind of the last part of the season, was also kind of tending towards that Velajul kind of play as well with the Hagang. We're seeing Tito Gofflet as well there with the Maw and with the Gapsu. Does that signal Ragdoll might be coming out soon?
Yeah, it might be. However, Gapsu is more of a counter pick where you pick it when the enemy is showing a few healing kind of units in there. In this position, Guts could say like, okay, I'm gonna go for either really high healing or very specific healing, but not healing all over the place all the time. So with that Smicer in there and the Chandra, you do have the protection, but you don't necessarily have that healing, and that makes that Gapsu maybe a little bit too early placed.
Ooh, answering right now, Tito Gofflet with 2 more bruises. We've got Veremos and we've got Juno coming out, so.
Yeah, definitely not too much damage on the side of Tito. So Fire Monkey, absolutely the unit over there, probably will be banned out as well because the other units from Guts don't show that much damage. So it's definitely going to be a bit of a longer fight than we've seen on the previous matches.
Yeah, let's find out. The ban is going to be on that Veremos and it is going to be on the Mei Hu Wang. Both guys taking in the speed leads with the Maw and the Chandra. We're here. It's our Summoners War European League Playoffs Day 1, Round 1, Match 2. Set 1 as we're going in. Tito Gofflet versus Guts the Berserk. Escher is taking that first turn. He's going to boost up the rest of the team. What can this Maw do, say?
Moore is doing quite some actually. Moore is not stunning anything. We have the stun over there for the Chandra, but in this case we do have the Cigar taking over. Are you gonna go into the Gapsu? Does go into the Gapsu, but does not manage to land pushbacks on 2 very crucial units.
Yeah, and getting the stun there from the Smiter on the Maw. Now Hegang following up as well. There's a lot of debuffs around right now, say.
Yeah, there's a lot of debuffs around. Like, the question is going to be, what is Guts going to take out first? Is it going to be that Asher? Is it going to be that Moore? Does seem to be going for that Moore right now. The bomb is already on it, and it's actually taking quite some good damage. We do know Guts has very good runes, and those units are actually, that are normally not super high damage units, are actually quite taking out the units of Tito right here.
Yeah, they are right now. Obviously, Juno is on the field, so she's going to be able to heal a little bit if any debuffs do come onto her. Right now, big additional turn for that Cigar, getting the defense break as well.
Yeah, once again, that Smite is doing so much work for just simply taking a turn. It's boosting, or it's lowering the attack bar of someone else. It's silencing for 2 turns. And then also giving a little bit of healing or dropping those bombs. So definitely Smite is one of those dangerous units that's doing a lot on this battlefield.
Juno coming in, obviously, with that strip on the defense, but he's going to be cleansed because Hegang is on the field. Landing another bomb as well. I think that's 100% so far.
Yeah, those bombs are definitely landing in this position, but also just the turns that Smiter takes. Every turn it takes, it's literally taking down the Asher for taking, like, it's preventing an Asher for taking turns, which is probably the fastest unit, or is the fastest unit here on the battlefield. And that Smiter is just, no additional turn, Asher's not moving, it's fine.
Yeah, just throwing out those silences. Obviously, it's going to get to a point where he's going to have to start targeting some damage into the Juno as well, though, say. But do you think the units on the field right now can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. It will definitely take a little bit of time to actually get rid of a Juno. You do have the Juno getting a lot of speed buff and also healing from that Smiter at a late game. But we have seen the units from Guts doing quite some good damage as well. So I would be surprised if a Juno can actually full 1v4 in here. But it might be possible. It really depends on, like, if he can get like a good armor break at the right moment or something.
Let's see. He does obviously have that Cigar on the field as well, but it is the different element. So we'll see as the Gapsu is slowly going to be taken down.
It's also for Tito pretty hard to decide, like, what do you focus first? Because you kind of should focus the water units first and then the wind units later, because the wind units are more likely to give you buffs that you can handle later. But hitting the Chandra in this position is kind of dangerous as well. Plus, you still have that healing from that Smiter coming in every time.
It is going to be Juno versus the units of Smiter, Chandra, Hegang, and Cigar on the side of Guts. So, like you said, that damage is going to be going up as well the more that we play this game. So,
yeah, damage is definitely going to be going up. Plus, the units on the or the units from Guts have HP scaling, so HP is going down as well. So the damage from those units is going down, and there's a lot of debuffs on this Juno every time. Can heal a good amount every time, but I would say the moment that he takes out that Chandra, he's looking at a very good position.
let's see then. Cigar going in for that defense break and does manage to get it as well. It's a lot of damage from that first kill. Will, yes, Hegang cleans it up for Guts the Berserk against Tito Gofflet and his Juno. Say Guts the Berserk reversing what happened in the Summoners War European League days by taking that first set against Tito Gofflet. Interesting style. They both kind of in the end were a little bit more bruiser, but managing to take out that Juno.
Yeah, definitely that Juno, like I said, the moment you land that armor break, a Chandra will still do quite some damage and it will actually take it out at some point. So, should you be focusing on that Chandra first? It is difficult to say because you would be critting less on that Chandra with the Juno, so you don't get as much cycling in, you don't get as much healing in. So it's a difficult decision, but in most cases, 4 against 1 is not a fair fight and you should win those.
Yeah, unless your name is Douglas. But we're seeing the pre-bans coming out right now say it is going to be that Gapsu that's going to get pre-banned. And Tito saying, if you've got first pick, you're not going to have that Escher.
Definitely an interesting style to have a high contested Escher in this position. And that also might be that Tito was rather stealing the Escher in the last match rather than actually claiming it for his own style of drafting, which... not sure if that worked out too well for him in the last match, but let's see how that works out right now. We do have that Cigar being locked in, we have the Chandra and the Segment being picked up as well. Guts probably will be looking towards another Bruiser style. Does go back for that Valajul. Can probably lock it in with the Hay Gang as well.
Let's see if he does. It is a very crucial combination if you have both of those units on the same side, say, with obviously that cleanse from Belajul, attack bars going up left, right, and center for Guts the Berserk, and he has locked in that Hay Gang. Maybe to mention as well, Belajul currently highest win rate from the Summoners War European League on a 71%. I don't know if it was always partnered with the Hay Gang to still get that high win rate, but if it was, it's a good look for Guts right now.
Yeah, definitely is, but there we have something that looks very good for Tito. We have that Nikki going in there. It is somewhat countered by a Cigar already, but also a light pony, so definitely some more LDs on the field over here, and we're definitely looking at a very Bruiser style of match again. For Guts, he could be looking towards that Fire Monk. Ooh, that's actually a very interesting one. Bolfric is a good unit, however, Bolfric into an AoE heal block that is 3 turns is definitely a dangerous thing to do.
Definitely is. I mean, he's got the cleanse on the side with the Velajul at the moment. Does he follow it up with a second one just to make sure? Let's find out. It's Guts the Berserk with the last few seconds going in for the Diana. We're getting some unicorn action right now, Sam. We know that from the Summoners War European League itself, that wasn't always a good choice.
Yeah, definitely a Diana into a light pony means that you have the anti-crit, the glancing potential in there. So your Diana cycling is not going to be that great. Plus, we have a Fire Monkey being picked up over here. And this is definitely a position where Monkey could do monkey things if he bans out that Bolfric.
Let's see, he's hovering over the Meihu Wang right now. Likely that it probably will go through right now, but for the bans, what does that signal for you, say?
I would say that Bolfric is definitely dangerous. I would probably take it out. And if you want your Diana to be in the match and have any value, you probably have to take out the lead pony. But actually takes out the attack buff and a lot of healing with the Nikki. I do respect that.
There we go, got the speed lead from the side of Tito Gofflet and the defense lead from the side of Guts the Berserk. It's our Summoners War European League playoff day 1, round 1, match 2, set 2. Tito Gofflet versus Guts the Berserk. Sekhmet, high win rate in the Summoners War European League. Will she land that third skill? Gets the cool time on the Velajul.
Yeah, definitely does get the cooltime on the Velajul, but in this case, I definitely don't really see where Guts is gonna get a lot of damage from, because the Diana cycling is always going to be dangerous, and in the end, that is the main damage output, whereas on the other side, the main damage output is that Monkey, and the longer this fight takes, the stronger that Monkey will be.
Yep, and he's gonna be moving very much soon as well. We've got the Eleanor right now. Is gonna look to transform into the human form, being able to put up that anti-crit if she wants already. Say, Monkey, who do you think is gonna follow up with that Velajul? Try and land a defense break already?
Yeah, the Velajul, a lot of the cases, Velajul is pretty high on resistance, so you're not 100% sure if it's actually going to be a high resistance one. Also, we have the Diana being able to put shields and actually stun her sister. That's definitely an interesting one. But now you can actually trade that and just do all of the damage into a Diana. Ooh, decides to go for that Velajul, tries to take that out first, but like I mentioned, Velajul pretty often is 100 resistance, so it's going to be hard for those units. Probably except the Sekhmet to actually land anything on the Velajul.
Yeah, Monkey is going to be moving now. Can he get a stun with his first skill? Nothing, but he does get that additional turn right now, set, and does at least land the defense break on the Velajul.
Yeah, we do have that armor break right now. Oh, in this case, it's going for a switch. I would say that it's a fair position, but are you actually gonna go for the armor break unit? You could actually go for it. However, you have attack break, so it's still not gonna do too much damage. I think it's better to go for cycling. Actually didn't get a near single crit. He only critted once. He was at 25% attack bar, but took the additional turn. So that's how dangerous it was to actually use that Diana at that position because of the Eleanor.
Yeah, but he's managed now for Cigar to land that defense break on the pony. But more additional turns. This Meihu Wang is going to be dealing a lot of damage. And Velajul, will it go down to the Sekhmet? Not quite.
By the sliver of health. Once again, going for that cycling. In this case, probably has to go for the pony. Lands a decent amount, but not enough. Does get an additional turn on that Velajul, however. So you could go for the boosting, or you could go for it. Oh, that's definitely a good boost. Are you going to be able to take out the pony right now? Yes, he might be actually taking out the pony. And therefore, the Diana on the field will become a lot stronger. However, we still have a Meihu Wang on the enemy side that can probably take out all 4 units on the side of Guts.
Let's find out. He's going to confirm that kill on the light unicorn right now. Meihu Wang has a lot to answer for. Just maybe get rid of that Velajul off of the field. Sekhmet, will she land her skill 3? Going for that Cigar and does manage to get it on the Cigar, but we know that skill 1 with provokes is very strong.
Yeah, definitely all eyes on the Monkey and the Diana. Those are the 2 units that have to do it in this match. The Diana can definitely take out the water unit as a Chandra. It's definitely a very tanky one. Also probably some minus damage on wind. But yeah, this Monkey's gonna be doing so much. It's at full speed right now. It's going to be cycling a lot. It's going to be taking a lot of turns. And it's definitely going to be doing a lot.
And the defense breaks landed on that Diana as well. He's not choosing to focus on it just yet at the moment. But Cigar's not looking healthy. The defense break on that Diana, but she will be able to cycle out of it unless there's a reset. No.
Ooh, goes for the reset over there, but ooh, Diana taking... Ooh, Guts is definitely gambling with those Diana switches going in against glancing time and time again. I'm definitely not sure if Diana was the right play here, but definitely that Fire Monkey was the right pick at that moment, because the Fire Monkey is just one by one taking out all of the 4 units of Guts. Still 1 on the field left to get into that 4th, but that Fire Monkey will definitely make it work.
Fire Monkey's so dangerous when he's left on the field, and there was no one really to take out any more of the damage as well from the side of Guts the Berserk. That Hair Gang isn't going to be around for long because this Monkey has that second skill available, and it's enough to confirm the kill. So Tito Gofflet takes that second set win save. We brought it back to 1-1 right there. Maybe Guts a little bit outdrafted in the end.
Yeah, I would say so. That Diana, I did like the Bullfrog. The Bullfrog in the end, especially if you're looking towards banning that Nikki, Bullfrog definitely did make a lot of sense. However, that Diana, it's just super dangerous to go for Diana switches where you have to get 4 crits to be cycling. Plus, the units that the Diana could take out was probably the Nikki that you in the end banned. So it was not having too much value in there. Plus, that Fire Monkey was just so good. There was actually nothing to actually be dealing with the Fire Monkey on the whole field of Guts.
Yeah, exactly, and once he could stack up from his passive, there was just more damage coming out there. So as well, you can see the last round pre-bans were that Escher and the Gapsu, so they are going to be available again this time round for Tito Gofflet and Guts the Berserk. We're going to be seeing Oliver and Nikki being pre-banned there, say.
Yeah, definitely good to see that Nikki being pre-banned, because that's definitely something Guts doesn't want to play against. Now my big question is Tito gonna be forcing in that Escher once again? Is that definitely his contested unit where he either picks it or he doesn't want to play against it?
Let's find out. He could also maybe even steal from Guts the Berserk the Cigar. Cigar has been something that he's picked in the past 2 sets in that first pick as well. We know he's got the Heigang and Velajul as well. We've already seen that on the side of Guts the Berserk. Or does Tito go for our most picked monster as always, get a more out on the field, stealing that Cigar instead?
Yeah, stealing that Cigar instead. So in this case, Guts could go for his Escher that he's very comfortable with. Could go for an Escher plus a more. Is looking at a Gapso, so it's definitely looking at like, okay, we're gonna play bruiser fights and I don't want you to bruiser with a Gapso. So looking on a very early Velajul, but definitely with that Gapso over there.
Yeah, Velajul there. Tito Gofflet, that's a good signal. If you're having those 2 units, I'm going to be taking that Heigang. And we do see the Escher potentially at a later pick from his normal first pick slot right there.
Yeah, Escher is definitely not too great in this position, because the moment that Escher boosts, Gapso will get a turn. Not your team gets a turn, Gapso will get a turn. So therefore, probably it's the best that he actually removed that. We have a Ren on the side of Tito right now. This is definitely a position where a Juno becomes very strong for Guts. Or maybe actually be looking at locking in a Fire Monkey. Because if you lock in a Fire Monkey right now, Tito can't pick it. So let's see what Guts does.
I like that is correct logic right there. Say if I pick it now, he's not going to be picking it later. He this time decides to go for the Smicer as well. We saw earlier in the previous match, obviously those silences just taking turns being on the field, super annoying. Tito Gofflet maybe changing things up here with the Ciara, the speed lead, and obviously we've got that Robo as well, but deciding against it at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if that's going to be doing too much, because then you're somewhat betting on like, okay, I'm going to be able to snipe something out in the first turn, which is very dangerous. Actually goes to a Layla Tomoe comp, because the Heigang is already there. Definitely an interesting one, but Guts definitely has an answer in there with the Pater. So that's definitely a very strong unit. That's probably the must ban right then and there. Plus already that Velajul's on the field, so I'm not really sure if this team from Tito Gofflet is gonna work against what Guts already had on the field.
Let's see, we were mentioning before, Guts not with usually the most relevant RTA monsters in Light and Dark, but Patar right there is a very good answer to this combination that we sometimes see with the Layla and the Tomoe. Layla we're not going to see, and we're actually not going to see the Patar anyway. Both of these guys taking in the speed leads from Tomoe and more as we're going into our Summoners War European League Playoffs Day 1, Round 1, Match 2, Set 3 between Tito Gofflet and Guts the Berserk. It's all even at the moment. Can more change things up?
Not too much, but we also have Cigar moving right after this, so it could be a pushback, actually a violent one. It's already taking out quite some damage from that Ren. Plus there's no healing on that side. Whereas on the enemy side, there's going to be that Gapso healing, but it's going to be taking a little bit of time before anything on the side of Guts is moving, except that ward most likely.
You know, Chloe is going to be following up right now as well. Can she look to land that suppression with the second skill and then maybe spread and push back on the rest? Gets the suppression and the stun there on the Smicer right now. That's a great debuff to now spread around.
Yeah, there's a lot of things spreading. The only issue is that more is pretty fast and that more is not going to be landing that much by any of the fire units. So it's that Cigar that has to be landing on that more. Otherwise, the more is going to have free reign at some point.
And he did just manage to land the defense break and the provoke right there on the Maw. We know it's violent though.
Oh, it's violent. Has the additional turn once again, doing good damage to the enemy team. And it's pretty much all of the damage that you see or that is dealt to Tito. Oh, that's a very crucial stun right there. And Moore is doing so much work. And it's definitely more against the world with a little bit of support.
Yeah, right now Cigar looking to follow. Can he land the defense break and the provoke again on that Maw?
Oh, we have Gapso going in with that skill 2. Probably will be taking out that Ren. We do know it's a good amount of damage, but I couldn't really see if it's enough. It was enough, so Gapso is definitely working towards that victory right now. But the Moor also has something to say about that. He definitely wants to win this one.
Yeah, Mort is taking a lot of turns right now, managing to say those additionals, getting the pushbacks. Cigar, who are you looking to reset, going back into that Gapsu right now. Tomoe has all skills available, say.
Yeah, definitely you would have to be looking at can you spread and can you push back, but you have to land it on the Moor. Does once again not land it on the Moor, but in this case actually with a double resist.
Double resist Tomoe now has that first skill available. Are you going to be able to just deal some more damage into that Villager? Hey gang, not push back. No more additional turn from Moor.
No additional turn for Moor, but we do have the passive of Moor, so you thought you were done with one thing. No, you were not done with that one thing. This Moor is definitely here to win. However, we do have the Cigar coming in pretty soon. With his skills. Oh, it was actually a very crucial stun. Nope, nope. More with the additional turn. Once again going for his cycling. And that cycling has been taking out so many units.
Yeah, Moor, the king of our set number 3 right there is Guts the Berserk confirms that third set win to go 2-1 up against Tito Gofflet. Say Moor, we see him a lot in the Summoners War European League. 72 times he's played out of all of the sets possible. And also with one of the highest win rates. But a violent Moor as well, usually tended to be played by both of these guys, plus the other French player from Adri in the previous league. Super strong right there, right? I mean, getting those additional turns when it mattered.
Yeah, absolutely. In this case, the additional turns was mainly just do as much damage as possible. If you have those crazy additional damage artifacts on speed, on attack, on HP, combination of those 3 lines or even more than that, and then it's just gonna do so much damage if you get that many turns in with that many cycles of turn 2. And yeah, that definitely did work out for Guts very well in that match.
Let's find out if it's going to get pre-panned out. We're going to get an Eshin. We're already going to get an Eleanor as well being pre-panned out at the moment. It does leave free reign for Guts to first pick that Moor if he wants to, but is he going to tend towards his Cigar, which was stolen from him in that last match day?
Probably will go back to that Cigar. I think between the 2 players, that's the most crucial unit that both of the players really like to play with and not that much against. Is Tito going to go back to that Sekhmet, the Chandra Sekhmet combination? Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's got there, so he's got the cool time on that skill 3 from Sekhmet against Guts the Berserk. Are we going to see again any more Haygangs and Villagers on the side of Guts?
Yeah, definitely could be very good opener. It did work out for him last time. The only thing he has to keep in mind with everything that he drafts, is it something that I can deal with if he locks in that Fire Monkey? Because that Fire Monkey is always the dangerous thing against Guts.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's thinking about it right now. Maybe he's thinking about that Meihu Wang. It's in his nightmares, and if it's in your nightmares, pick it on your side, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Pick it on your side. You also do know that Tito hasn't been showing any Valajul, so you could decide to pick your Valajul later. But in this position, you actually just lock out where you don't have to play against a unit that you just lost against. So I definitely do like that Fire Monkey pick right there. Tito right now does have that Nikki locked in, but in this position is thinking about like, okay, what can you pair it with? Are you actually gonna go, ooh, does go to a Gapso as well?
Yeah, Gapsu already on the field. So like you said, Guts does have obviously now the choice if he wants to bring that Velajul into the action right now. Smicer as well has been mentioned a lot so far already in this playoff day number 1. Who's he gonna partner it up with?
Yeah, definitely could go back. Ooh, a Kiki. I actually do kind of like the Kiki. However, it's not too great into the Nikki. It does have that AoE cleanse. But besides that, there's not too much going on for immunity and cleanses. Vermos is a decent unit to get rid of all of the debuffs from the Sekhmet skill 2, but also the Nikki skill 3. So I definitely do like the unit as well. However, it will be healing a lot. There's a lot of healing on the side of Guts, which does mean Gapso is going to be very strong.
Yeah, and right now Tito Gofflet looking as an answer with Dominic. We know how much single target damage that Dominic can do, especially if he gets an additional turn from leaving a branding from his skill 2 into that skill 1, say. Looks like he is going to be locking that in as well with the attack buff from a Nikki as well. Who do you like for the bans?
Oh, there's definitely a dangerous one because if you leave the Nikki plus Dominic in, Dominic with attack buff is going to do so much damage. So probably you have to take out that Nikki, but that Gapsu is very dangerous as well. Other side, I would probably take out that Monkey because we have seen the Monkey doing a lot of monkey business, and this is definitely a match where you could.
Yeah, let's see if Monkey can get online, get his monkey business done, as these guys are deciding right now. There's a bit of mind games. Who are we going to be banning out going into our set number 4? Obviously, Guts of Berserk could win this whole set, this whole match if he goes through. Smicer and Nikki are banned out, so we have the speed lead of Chandra on Tito Gofflet and the HP lead from Veramos. It's our Summoners War European League playoff day 1, match 2, set 4 between Tito Gofflet and Guts of Berserk. Sekhmet, does she land again?
Yeah, definitely has to go for the landing, and does in this position. You can drop a provoke on the enemy side, but it's not going to do all too much. In this position, you can protect that Dominic all the time because, well, there's still the Hey Gang. Hey Gang can actually go for a later strip, but in this position, you can't hit it just as of yet. Probably will save the skill 2. Yep, very well. So it's saving the skill 2 for the position where you can actually start hitting on that Dominic.
Oh, Dominic managing to get half HP down on that Cigar right now, but Hagan coming in and cleansing, managing to strip through.
Yeah, definitely a lot of things going on. The Gups is taking a lot of turns, and you can actually take out that Cigar pretty fast. But now the Monkey is online. Monkey doesn't have full stacks yet, but he can still already do quite some damage.
Yeah, and he's targeting now. He's seen the opportunity against that Dominic. There's no defend from Chandra right now. He is going to get a little bit of healing from using that skill, though.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Dominic right now. The Dominic, the moment that it's below 50% HP, it's a lot less deadly. Because before that, it actually would have taken out straight off the bat over there. Oh, does get a additional turn and quite smiling in, but we also have the Monk with an additional turn. Can you actually take out the unit? It is very close, but doesn't take it out as of yet. However, we have this Veramos moving next. Are you on crit rate? Are you gonna do it? Does actually take out the Dominic. And we are very much looking at a Monkey that is very strong in this position, but still has to get rid of a few Gupso heals.
Yeah, he is, but Monkey is online right now. I think he had full stacks. Are we going to look to land those defense breaks at the moment, say, or are we just going to get an attack break? Deciding to go for the Hairgang there instead.
It is so dangerous to actually go for that skill too when there's a Veramos moving right after that, because Veramos would just keep moving and moving again. Sure, your Gupso for that reason also will keep moving and moving again. However, there's a Fire Monkey on the enemy side. That unit is just so dangerous. One additional turn on this would probably take it out once again, and it just starts lapping, being so fast. Monkey will take the next turn, taking out that unit right at that position.
It's Monkey business all over the place right now, say. Veramos being on the opposite side of Gap, so he's just kind of helping each other, to be honest, right now. But when you've got a Monkey partnered with it, it can lead to a win as Tito Gofflet concedes there against Guts the Berserk, and Guts the Berserk manages to progress through our playoff day number 1 there, say. We said it, we saw some Monkey business, right?
Yeah, absolutely the Monkey business, and that's the thing that we have noticed between two Bruiser players. The one that picks the Fire Monkey most likely has the upper hand. Sure, Fire Monkey into a full-on turn 1 comp is not always that strong. It can get sniped out. It can't really get online. But in Bruiser fights, you pretty much always get your Fire Monkey online. And in this position where something else is the threat, for example, the Cigar, well, yeah, then first the Cigar has to be taken out, then the Monkey has to be taken out. That means the Monkey is online, Monkey starts lapping everything. Veramos next to it to cleanse. Just very well drafted. But that we also saw on the match before that, and that is also very well played by Guts, notifying like, okay, that Monkey is the one that's going to getting wins, either you or me. I need a unit on my side, so I'm dropping it in earlier.
Yeah, and we should also mention as well, looking at some of the highlights from those previous sets as well, they say just how much work that the Maw did as well for the side of Guts, being on Violent, managing to take turns. And like you said, in response to any of the Mehu Wangs that we saw on the field, was managing to deal with it. Guts adapting through, getting those additional turns on the Maw, and then managing to clean things out. Very well played by Guts. Obvious commiserations to Tito Gofflet. Again, another player that's the kind of first time we're seeing him at the top level of RTA, say. We might expect to see him a little bit later on in the year at an SWC as well, but I think he's shown a very good showing of himself in the Summoners War European League. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely did show a whole bunch of very versatile drafts. He definitely did show that Nikki is an insanely strong unit, so we're going to be seeing more of that Nikki from him later this year, most likely.
Yes, there we go. We've seen our first 2 matches in round number 1 of our Summoners War European League playoffs. But stick around, because we've still got 2 more matches. The guys that have managed to win, so Glorious and Guts, will be progressing into the next round, where they'll be facing off against opponents 3 and 4, which were Rexas and Pathic as well. So those are going to be some heavy-hitting matches. And like we said, if you manage to win those ones and get all the way through to the next day, it's going to be proving very beneficial. As you can see those medals in front of you, which is what they're all playing for. We're going to go into a quick 5-minute break, and we'll see you back here very, very soon. Ciao. Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your little 5-minute break right there. We're teasing you every time that we're going in and out of these breaks. You can see the medals that are up for grabs for all of our players that are going to be going through to tomorrow for our Summoners War European League playoffs. Obviously right now we've already seen 2 matches. Say we've had Glorious managing to defeat Sam Sepa and Guts managing to defeat Tito. Now they're going to come up against some new opponents, or not so new because they've played them previously in the Summoners War European League, but they are now going to be introducing themselves to Pathic and Rexas. Say our first match is going to be Pathic versus Glorious. Glorious managing to get that 3-1 win against Sam Sepa, as you can see right in front of you there. And also Guts the Berserk taking a 3-1. Are we going to get a day of 3-1s, I wonder? Let's find out as we're going to see Pathic versus Glorious. Say these two guys, stellar competition. Actually, the last time that these two guys faced off against each other as well, Pathic did manage to get a 2-0 in the league days against Glorious. Glorious is going to want to change his fortune for today's match to try and get something to then go through to, obviously, tomorrow and into those next days. Say, in those 2 matches, we saw that Riley on the side of Pathic really came into play and made a massive comeback from Woonsa stripping and Glorious not managing to follow up with anything. And in that second set as well, say, Camilla had something to say for Pathic. She managed to take down Ren, Cigar, and Chungpung to claim the win for Glorious. You can see it now. We've confirmed it right now. We've moved the names across. You can see it is going to be Pathic versus Glorious, and it is going to be Rexas versus Guts the Berserk. What do you think of those lineups?
Well, the interesting thing about this lineup is that Pathic, Glorious, but also Rexas are all 3 in the same guild. They're all 3 from Aftermath Legends, so definitely one of the 2 players from Aftermath Legends on Pathic and Glorious is gonna move to the next round. So that's always cool. But in the end, you want you to be the winner and not your guildie to be the winner, right? So those players are definitely gonna be playing for that victory. But it does mean that they know each other very well. They know each other's bugs. They probably have been playing together on RTA or something like that, or sharing replays. So definitely interesting to see what the 2 players is going to bring over here. However, it's also very interesting to say that Pathic is very much a turn 2 player, whereas Glorious is very much a turn 1 player. Where it didn't work out last time around that they played against each other is where Glorious did get the turn 1, but didn't have enough follow-up to actually make kills. So in that position, Pathic's turn 2 player can take it over. And I think we're going to be looking at a similar kind of style of matches as well. Whereas Pathic is going to be trying to preventing from any of his units dying in those first few turns that Glorious takes, and then see if he can turn around the match.
Exactly. We're going to meet, obviously, Pathic's here as well. We also know that he's got a very strong LD at the moment. So he does have that Julian. It was dealing some serious damage in those league days as well. Do you think Glorious has an answer to that with his own box?
I would say that the great answer to Julian from what we have seen so far is banning it. Just don't leave it on the field. It's too dangerous. Especially in the hands of Pathic, where he also has that Kavachi, likes to pair it up with that Vanessa, the Riley. There's just armor breaks, attack buffs, everything going on. And the moment that everything is there as a setup for Julian, Julian will literally one-shot every single unit from full to 0. Doesn't matter how it's looking like or how tanky it is. It will easily do like 25k plus times 2, 30k maybe even. It's just a lot of damage, so I think banning it is the best way to counter it.
I know it all too well. Say I love my Julian, but it's nothing on the side of Pathic. Pathic's was super strong right there. We're seeing Glorious in all of his glory again. Say, like you said, both of these guys in the same guild as well. How does that come into play when you're in these competitions?
Well, I do think in the end, like the top end players do kind of find one another and they like to play with each other. Not all of the RTA players are also always Siege players, because in the end, if you're in a guild, you're mainly focused on Siege. But yeah, I think that does kind of attract one another to be talking on the same level on the game and those kind of things.
Exactly. If they're super high level, they're going to be having those same kind of talks, obviously with similar units that both of them might have as well. If I'm not mistaken as well, I think Pathic has a Tian Lang as well, say. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm actually pretty sure he does, but he doesn't like to play it as much.
Yeah, so let's see if it is going to be another battle. We saw Sam Sepa, he came out on the losing side against Glorious in that first round. Pathic has a lot more things up his sleeve to try and get through, obviously, against each other. Say, I've got something to say to you. Why did the Summoner bring an LD to RTA? To fix his glorious RNG. Let's go through into our Summoners War European League playoffs day 1, match 1 between Pathic and Glorious Aid. What do you think of the pre-bans here as well? Are we going to be seeing LD heavy in those pre-bans? Do you think, are we going to see the Shan, which was kind of the response that Sam B set point for, or is it going to change things up on the side of Pathic?
I would definitely say that we're gonna see a Sean and we're gonna see Julian. Those are the two core units that both of the players always like to draft around. It's not necessarily their first picks, but it's definitely one of those. They revolve their whole comp around those units, and those units also tend to give them the victory. So let's see what we have for pre-bans.
Let's find out here who's going into those pre-bans. Just to tell everyone, it is our match 1, set 1. So we are going to be kicking things off at 0-0. We're going to see a Shan banned on the side of Pathic and Glorious, obviously banning out that Vanessa for any combination that could come later. Say, what are you liking for first picks here? We're going to see Moors, we're going to see Chandra.
I would say that Asher is maybe something that Pathic could be looking at more. It's definitely more of a steal, but definitely a nice one as well. Glorious is right away looking for that snipe, so that's very nice of him to ban out that Vanessa and then go for a sniping comp, because the Vanessa is mostly the one to prevent that. Locking in the Tia Lang as well, which is maybe a little bit early for a sniping comp. It's more of a counter pick mostly, but maybe it's locking in the Tia Lang to not have to play against the Tia Lang.
Yeah, Pathic's bringing out the nightmares from the past against Glorious right now. He's bringing that Riley and the Julian as well. We know how much damage that can come through from a Julian. Maybe he needs to partner with some sort of defense break in that 4th and 5th slot as well. Say, Glorious looking to respond with a snipe, get that Sonya on the field.
Yeah, that Sonya's pretty interesting, but I could see a world where you can't actually snipe anything on the side of Pathic, because a Riley could be high defense, and if you remove that... Well, you also have a Cassandra next to it right now, but the Cassandra is probably going to be moving later than the Sonya is, so you could be looking at a draft where you remove the pure vanilla cookie. You don't know what's on the last slot of Glorious yet, but it could be looking something like that. Or what you could do is go for a Nana in this position, but then you would have to draft in a little bit more damage than just a segment.
Let's find out. We're seeing the segment right now, so it is obviously the defense break that he needed for a Julian to deal that damage. Juno coming in as well. Interestingly, the Dark Sandra obviously with that endure buff as well from the skills as well. Say, Carlos?
Carlos is one of those units. I'm not too sure if I like it too much. I think a Fire Monkey or maybe even a Daphnis. If Daphnis, it's kind of a coin flip tricky unit. Does it land the armor break? Does it crit? But if you get both, it might actually be a very nice snipe in that position.
Let's find out who the bans are going to be right now. Obviously, he's got 2 snipe units on the side of the field of Glorious right now. Pathic, Julian, we know how deadly it can be, but he's not going to get sniped.
Yeah, I definitely would say that removing the pure vanilla cookie is probably one of the better plays for Pathic. But on the other side, I'm not too sure.
We're seeing the Maw being banned out right now then, and that Dark Cassandra, otherwise the Kiara in the Summoner's War version. We've got the attack lead from that cookie coming through, so there's a HP lead from Sekhmet. It's our playoffs day 1, round 2. Match 3, set 1 between Pathic and Glorious. Sekhmet again has that skill 3 available. Is he going to go on that cookie?
We have the turn 2 player outspeeding the turn 1 player. That Sekhmet is really fast. But in this position, it's all about what's going to be moving after, because it's actually going to be the Juno moving in front of the Daphnis. But however, the Juno is not moving in front of the Julian, which would have been very nice in this position. Wait, the speed buff. Not enough damage. There was so much damage. I did not expect that to be happening, but that was a lot and a lot of damage going in. But now we have Juno, something to say about it. Juno has a lot to say about it. But the pure vanilla cookie can actually put Oblivion on the Julian right now.
Yeah, does decide and lands on that Julian as well. Are you looking already for the defense breaks? Gets them out on the side of Tianlang. But Tianlang, can he take it down with an additional turn?
Oh,
no.
Can't take it down, but also can't take the stun. And in this position was one of the few moments you could have actually stunned the Julian. But it wasn't enough. And in this case, yeah, the pure vanilla cookie did Oblivion. I definitely did like the idea behind it. But the Julian and the Juno just did too much damage.
Wow, so much changing in the turn orders right there, say as well. Julian is going to finish off, oh, not quite on the cookie with a miscrit, but Juno does clean it up for Pathic, taking that 1-0 against Glorious right there, say. So deciding in his draft, I'll go turn 2. Oh no, I'm going to go turn 1 with my Sekhmet.
Yeah, actually that Sekhmet was crazy fast, and that definitely did work out. And yeah, I think that Glorious was like, okay, the pure vanilla cookie does have Oblivion, that can take, or that can get rid of the Julian. Well, that was not the right way to counter it. Probably banning was still the right way to counter it.
Exactly, it did so much damage right there.
Yeah, exactly.
This time, yeah. Okay, you called it this time. How do we counter it? We're going to pre-ban it. Julian is out along with the Chiwu, sir.
Yeah, definitely. The Julian is just so hard to deal with. Like, Pathic's Julian is just insane. The moment it gets a few things in, it just does an insane amount of damage. But looking at this match, no Julian. We got more on the field, and we have Pathic's going for the steal of that Tian Lang.
Yeah, Glorious with his pocket pick of that Shan. We know how dangerous it can be when it gets online. Partnering it with Oliver, another speed lead right now. Say, how does Pathic's? Does he pivot right now?
Yeah, it could go back to that super fast segment. I actually do like the segment in this position, especially with the Vanessa right now. You're definitely going to be looking at outspeeding those units, and you could lock out some of those units.
Let's find out. He's got Vanessa right now at the moment. Obviously, it's a 33% speed lead. This time partnering it up with a Marsha instead.
The Marsha is definitely a nice unit for that as well. And Glorious has to be looking at like, okay, I am pretty fast on the speed leads right now, but I'm not really looking towards outspeeding yet. He probably has to look into lock in his Wunsa. But then the big question is, can you actually have enough damage with a 5th big unit in there? Ooh, actually decides to go back to that pure vanilla cookie. I am not too sure if he's going to be ending up with enough damage over here if that John is going to be taken out.
Let's find out. He partnered it up with Azima right there as well for Glorious in that 4th pick. Pathic's right now as well. Maybe needs another speed lead, say, or do you think he's going to be just continuing with some damage?
You could go a bunch of routes. You could go towards a passive and then taking out that Jean and then just playing on the passive of maybe a Juno or any of those kind of units. Because I definitely do think that you have options with that. Could also go for that. However, I think that the Kavach is not that interesting because you do have a whole bunch of strippers on the enemy side already.
Let's see then who they're going to be banning now. It is going to be that Zima, and we are taking out the speed lead on the side of Vanessa right now. Pathic's and Glorious, so he is going to have the 33% with the Oliver right now. There's no Sekhmet on the field to respond on the side of Pathic's like he did last time. The defense lead coming out for Cigar on the side of Pathic's. So Summoners War European League playoffs day 1, round 2. Match 3, set 2 between Pathic's and Glorious. That Cookie does get his first turn this time.
Cookie does get the first turn, but now we're looking at more. More is potentially stripping into all units. That's... Oh, is that enough? No, we have the Oliver moving next, and Oliver does move next, and then the Jean is moving next. So if the Jean managed to land most of its things, preferably all things, then this match is looking very favorable for Glorious in this position.
Does get the climb right there. Cigar, like you said, Shan does get all of those. Also going to be cycling into that squall very soon.
Yeah, the squall is definitely going to be very strong. That additional turn is favored by another additional turn. However, you prefer to have that additional turn on that unit that is now stunned. So it's not going to be taking any turns anytime soon.
And that Cookie coming out again with Oblivion onto that Tian Lang. So his passive isn't going to be working for at least 1 turn right now. That squall, where are you going to put your damage in, say?
It's gonna go for that Tian Lang still, so even though that the Tian Lang is already Oblivion, still likes to take it out. We have that Marsha coming in with her skills pretty soon as well. Let's see what the Marsha can do, because Marsha can still do a lot of damage in this position.
Ooh, not quite enough to take out the Sham, but that defense break is still there on him. Another more taking additional turns.
We have Morse on Violent, and they like to take a lot of those additional turns. Like, there's one thing to be on Violent and not take them, but there's also another thing to be on Violent and take a lot of those. Also, once again, that Oliver, some Despair in this position, does like to take a lot of those Despair stunts.
Let's find out. Marsha now going into that Sham, but with the attack break, not managing to kill it off right now. Will the Tian Lang die anyway?
Well, the Tian Lang will definitely die at this position, but I'm more looking at that Oliver that is time and time again stunning units. Also, a lot of additional turns on the side of Glorious. I would definitely say that in this position with the drafting that Glorious did, he didn't need as many violent turns to win this. He would have probably won it without it. Otherwise, I would kind of like to mention that, but he definitely had the upper hand in some of the RNG favorable things as well.
Let's find out then, as the Cookie is going to be starting to clean things up against Pathic's as Glorious takes that set 2 win against Pathic's right now. So seems a little bit like the battle of the LDs at the moment. That first set, Julian was allowed to be played, came through, did a lot of damage. In that second set, Shan allowed to go through the draft phase, taking out a lot of damage through to that Tian Lang and just managing to control with all of the stuns from the 3rd skill, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's also why I was kind of surprised about not banning the Shan, but also the last pick on that Kavach, because in the end, you know you're gonna be outsped. You know that Moore is gonna move, and you know that Shan is gonna move. You're betting on a lot of checks to say like, okay, I'm gonna get this through, and the Kavach is actually gonna move and do its thing. Because in this case, it didn't get a single turn.
Yeah, it didn't right now. We see from the pre-bans in that last round, obviously Julian is back in the hands of Pathic's if he decides to choose him, and Chiwu will be back on the field as well in this case, as we're going to get Shan being banned out with that Vanessa as well, say.
Yeah, definitely two very good bans. However, we did see that Pathic doesn't necessarily need the Vanessa, and I think Glorious is going to be playing around that Adriana once again, but he doesn't have the more in this position.
Yeah, Oliver being taken on the side of Glorious, and in response to that more, it's another 33% speed lead. Are we going to be seeing an early Adriana pick as well to follow it up, say?
Ooh, this time not an Adriana. Actually goes back to his common drafting style with like a Chibu kind of style. Does already have the speed leads locked in, so he doesn't get to a position where you could lock out both of the two speed leads and then you battle it out, because he does know that that segment is actually faster than a bunch of the units on the side of Glorious. But these are the super fast units of Glorious that will definitely outspeed.
Yeah, we've got the wounds, so we've got the Ren right now as well. Remember, guys, it is a best of 5 here in our round 2 as well between these two players. So there's still at least 2 more sets to be played, maybe even 3 if they get to the 2-2 right now. Pathic, how do you answer that? Say you've seen those speed units come out. Are you going to pivot?
I would definitely say if you go Fire Monkey, Douglas, or Fire Monkey, Juno, and you ban 5th, you're looking at a very favorable draft, because the 4 units on the field of Glorious don't have something, they don't have much to say against those 2 fire unit bruises. So I definitely do like the draft of Pathic's right here. I would probably say that you have to be banning out that Douglas, but Douglas we have also seen being disappointed a few times. But in this case, we're looking at that Monkey. If the Monkey once again gets online, it can do a lot of work.
Let's find out. We've got speed leads of 33 on the side of Glorious, 24 on the side of Pathic in our Summoners War European League playoffs day 1, round 2, match 3, set 3. Winter is going to be taking that first turn, getting the strips, but Haegang is on the field.
Haegang is on the field, and that Moore is also in with the passive. Actually managed to land a lot. In this position, I would probably go for a skill too, because if you land armor breaks right now, the Monkey can start killing things very fastly.
Yeah, he's got 3 landed on the side of Glorious right now as well. Getting that cool time, but not the pushback on that Mehu Wang.
Oh, not the pushback, but also Haegang landing a lot of despair stunts. And this is the position where the Monkey starts stacking 6, 7, 8 passive. And that's where the Monkey gets faster than anything on the field, and that's where this Monkey will definitely take over this match.
Yeah, and getting the cool time on that Oliver, so he's not going to be cycling anytime soon. The Mehu Wang right now can choose who he wants to take out. It's going to be that Ren right now.
Yeah, we still have that Oliver on despair trying to make it work, but that Monkey is going to be so fast. And the both Pioneers are definitely not units to take out the Monkey. Plus that Oliver is also absolutely not a unit to be taking out a Monkey.
Yeah, he's taking some damage there from the wound to the Mehu Wang right now, but he has that second skill available. He's going to heal, get the additional turn, that first skill right now as well. Oliver and Wunter against Mehu Wang even.
Yeah, it's just like there's even 3 other units on the field next to it. Like the Mehu Wang would have probably soloed those 2, but yeah, this is definitely a very nice match for Pathic and very well read in the draft. Once again, there was a lot of speed on the side of Glorious, but there was no follow-up.
Yeah, it's kind of been his story when he's played against Pathic in the past, not following up with that damage. The Shan obviously wasn't available for him because of the pre-ban in that first part. Monkey, doing monkey business there for you. Pathic's managing to take that 2 sets to 1 lead at the moment. It's putting him in the driving seat. If he can get 1 more, he will be qualified for tomorrow. So how do you think Glorious has to change things up?
Well, I definitely would say that the draft where Glorious does have the Jean available is a lot more favorable for Glorious. So let's see what Pathic can do this time around, where he doesn't have the potential Julian and he has to probably play into a Jean.
Let's find out. Glorious right now does have that first pick available. The Oliver isn't on the field for Glorious this time, but we've still got the Maul with the speed lead as well, which has also been kind of a usual pick for Glorious this time. Maybe stealing a Vanessa?
Stealing a Vanessa, pretty interesting. Is he gonna be stealing a Vanessa and then still going back towards an Adriana? No, it's actually removing the Adriana from the draft and going more into a Bruiser style, but we do already have that Tianlang on the side of Pathic's.
Yeah, very strong unit. As we know, the Tianlang Glorious does have it, so maybe it's stolen early. Cigar partnered with a Shan right now as well. How does Pathic's answer?
In this position, I definitely do like that segment. We have seen it in matches before. It is super fast, so if you can lock down that Shan pretty early, that is definitely a way to win. However, we did see it in the match from Sam Sepa that Glorious does have a Jemire that can actually counter that segment, and he is looking at it to lock it in right now.
Yeah, it's on the field right now as well. Does he have enough to follow up through against right now? Is Pathic's already signaling a Mehuan in that last pick? And Bolverk may be coming out to play.
Ooh, Bolverk is definitely an interesting one as well. I'm not too sure if it's too great in this position. Once again, we're looking at a Glorious draft that if you remove the Jean, there's not too much stuff going on that side. If you were to lock in a Gapso right now, I definitely do think that Pathic is looking at a very much more favorable draft than Glorious is. But is he going to be finding that Gapso or a similar unit that can actually bruiser it out very well, where he can maybe ban out the Jean?
Let's find out. He's got the seconds. It's going to be more monkey business going into these guys right now. So we saw how much damage it was doing in that last match as well. Is it already going to be a signal ban? You've got the mind games of Riley being on the field with the Bolverk as well. Shan's being taken out as well as that more right now as well. We're going in with the speed leader Vanessa, but we know how fast that segment is as well. It's our Summoners War European League playoff day 1, round 2, match 3, set 4 between Pathic and Glorious. Chiwu does go first.
Does go first, does not manage to let any of those pushbacks, so you can go for a reset on that Cigar. Also, this Bolverk is gonna be on the field, but in the end, Pathic can decide whether he uses skills on Riley or not, because in the end, skill 1, healing is still there. Does try to tumble in some damage, does actually get quite good damage into that Tian Lang, but the moment you go for your healing right now, you're not gonna get that healing anytime soon back.
No, but you're taking that Tian Lang all the way down to not very healthy, but getting some stuns out there, so it's not going to be doing any damage soon. Deciding not to use any skill to not stack Bolverk, right?
Yeah, exactly. You want to stack Bolverk as little as possible, and for that reason, it's still gonna get some stacks from the passive itself, but it's not gonna be doing all too much. And this monkey once again can just be deciding the monkey things. It's gonna be out cycling, it's going to be so much faster, it's just going to be doing so much more. And the Riley is somewhat countered by a Bolverk, but it's also very simple to say like, no, it's not. I just skill 1, it's fine.
Yeah, skill 1, and even with the heal blocks coming out on the side of Sekhmet as well, say, it's meaning that Cigar won't be getting healthy, and he's going to get taken out by that skill 1 right now. And Monkey stunning on that skill 1 again.
Yeah, Monkey definitely doing the monkey business. Tian Lang just setting up that armor break, and there's just so much things going on. And this is definitely, once again, well drafted by Pathic, where Glorious had a draft of 1 damage threat. The moment it is banned out, it's not going to be doing all too much.
No, it's not, and Bolverk obviously can heal right now, but Glorious knows it's not going to be enough to win against Pathic as he concedes there. Pathic's taking a 3-1 win against Glorious right there, say. Again, we should say commiserations to Glorious. Managing to even get through to the round number 2 in our Summoners War European League is no mean feat. And likely we'll see him later on in the year, do you think?
Yeah, I definitely do think we will see him later on the year. Once again, I'm not entirely sure where all of these people placed for the last round for the season, but I definitely do think all of those players will try for the next season if they didn't qualify in the previous season already.
Exactly, so his focus probably changes now to the SWC. Hopefully for him, he doesn't meet up with Pathic in any of the prelims, if they both manage to get there, obviously. But you can see there as well the strength of Pathic right there. Say, even though it's Julian, we know how much damage it can do. Even when he's not even able to use it on the field, he has an answer for it in a different way from his drafting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's also the thing about having some of those LDs just in your box. If the player or your enemy locks something in that is bad against it, you're immediately gonna lock it in. And even when you're not drafting it at all, it's still pretty much on the field by just saying like, okay, you cannot draft this because I would counter it with my LD. You cannot draft this because same thing, it would be countered with that LD. And therefore having a lot of those LDs definitely makes the drafting position very strong and very hard to draft against these players.
Yeah, very hard to draft against them. You can see right there the highlights in front of you, which told the story of our playoff day 1, round 2, match 3 between Pathic and Glorious. I think we might see some more monkey business in this last match, say. What do you think?
I think there's very good odds to it, because in the end, the winning factors of the previous match was just a lot of those monkeys. In the right position, the monk is just super, super deadly. I do know that as of recently, Rexas also likes to bruiser a lot with that smicer in there, but he also still has that light monkey king. However, Light Monkey King is not that great against a Fire Monkey King, because Fire Monkey King at some point, even if it's slowed, it gets so much speed from that passive that it will still start outlapping, and it can be stunned. So definitely Fire Monkey King is gonna be a contested unit next match as well.
Let's find out. We also know from the previous matches as well, say that obviously Rexas starting to use that hair gang a little bit more in our week number 7. One of those units, if he can't use it, he's not going to allow the opponent to use it against him. And let's be honest, Guts is probably one of those people who started the trend with that hair gang and Veligil combination as well. So let's see how Rexas can look to answer that as well. We are going to be taking a little view into the players with their player profile videos, just to refresh you all of Rexas and Guts. And if you don't know who they are, where are you? You should be on Twitch and watching these guys. They're constantly streaming as well. You'll be able to see some of their matches, how they're runing, how they're preparing for all of the different RTA competitions as well there. So Rexas and Guts, actually, faced off against each other in Summoners War European League week number 5, where Guts managed to get a 2-0 result against Rexas, where the Juno of Guts managed to survive through Marsha and Meihu Wang to stun Moore with the last hit, managing to make him win through that Juno. And in that second set, the Velajul, Haegang and Praha just out-sustained Bella and Co on the side of Rexas right there. So we know that if they tend to bruiser, Guts had the upper hand last time, but how do you like it for this match?
Well, it is also known that Rexas pulled another LD5. It is a Narsha, the light Beast Rider. However, is that going to be a unit that you can actually snipe things out and therefore don't have to play a bruiser fight? Could be an option. Could be pretty strong next to an Adriana as well. We haven't seen that all too much, but I definitely could see where you would draft in an Adriana, a Sonya, and a Narsha together. And that's going to be very deadly for people that like to bruiser. However, we do know that Guts' runes are very good and most likely tanky that could maybe survive that as well.
And it's obviously interesting right now because there's no official RTA on the ladder. There is the Special League. Rexas won't have had much time to kind of prepare with that unit. Obviously, when it's in your own box with your own runes, your own artifacts, you need a bit of time maybe to see exactly what the speed tuning is going to be, how you're going to work that into the current box and drafts that you've obviously got. He's maybe not had the opportunity at the highest level. Maybe he's been in Noob Room trying to kind of play it out and already test things, maybe against some other guildies. This isn't a guildie of his, say, because it's actually a guildie of yours, right, at Origin with Guts.
It used to be. He actually left during the split season. The seasons are pretty long, so these people, most of the RTA players are like, just go for the rewards to the good guilds, and the rest of the season I'm like, nah, I'm just chilling.
Well, then you have no strings attached in this match whatsoever. And as we know, Guts is very much a superstitious man with his clapping. One more clap is all it takes. So freeze! Every Frenchman clap your hands. Okay, they're probably all on the French stream, to be honest. They're probably not listening to us right now. It is going to be our playoff. Round number 2, match 4 between Rexas and Guts Berserk. Who's your favorite going into this one?
I would say that this one is really a 50-50 for me, because in the end it's going to be, I think, still a bruiser fight, because it's just very hard to snipe things out from Guts. But in the bruiser fight itself, I think Guts does have a little bit more experience, so maybe slightly favoring Guts.
Yeah, let's find out. We're kicking things off with those pre-bans right now. I think this will signal if we're probably going into those bruiser matchups, like you were saying, Say. Obviously, you've got to kind of respect the potential LDs that could come out on the side of Rexas, or maybe even from Guts. Maybe there's a Khitan Dasheng already put in there. Maybe it's going to be an Esche highly contested. What do you think for the pre-bans?
I would definitely say Light Monkey is a good unit for pre-bans. On the other side, against Guts, you could maybe go for that Esche, but I do know that Rexas also likes that Esche. Same thing for the Moor, but does go for that Esche, and then Rexas is probably going to be looking at locking in that Moor, because that's also a unit that they both like to play a lot.
Let's see. We also know from that previous match, Say, that Guts was first picking Cigar a lot as well. So I wonder if Rexas has been watching and kind of checking in on how those matches have been. Again, Haegang, if you want him, you're not having him, because I'm having him or I'm pre-banning him, right?
Yeah, definitely an interesting one, because in the end, in a full-on bruiser fight, Haegang sure does have the boost up from the ATB, but it's not going to be providing any healing. It's not going to be providing any heavy CC besides Despair itself. So in a bruiser fight, I'm not sure how strong it actually will be. We do have it paired with the Velajul and the Chandra. On the other side, we already have the Praha plus a Segment. So Guts a little bit on the faster style of bruisering side, with also giving a lot of the cooldown increases. But let's see what Rexas is going to be looking at locking in here over here. Fire Monkey in this position against the 2 water units isn't as great, but if you don't lock it in right here and you're open to a Fire Monkey, it's definitely going to be locked in by Guts' 5th position.
Ooh, Volantis maybe being in the answer right now for Rexas, along with that Gapsu as well, Say.
Yeah, definitely 2 interesting units, but also very hard counted by Juno. Pretty much that whole draft is hard counted by Juno, but you have to be looking at removing that Gapso. Same thing with the Pheromones. You have to be removing that Gapso 100%, otherwise the match is going to be very bad. On the other side, probably the Pheromones is going to.
Yeah, ban's called. That's why you're sat on this desk with us. We've got the speed leads coming in from the Chandra and the Moor for both of these guys in our Summoners War European League Playoffs Day 1, Round 2, Match 4, Set 1 between Rexas and Guts the Berserk. Sekhmet is taking that first turn. Can she get the cool time? Going for the Volantis and managing to land the cool time as well there, Say.
Managed to land the cooldown, but can also go for the stun. Does not get the stun, but is the Moor going to be able to get some pushbacks? Can get some pushbacks, gets a decent amount of damage in, but in this case we have Velajul taking over.
Yeah, immunity pushed back up on the side of Rexas right now. Does he get strips? Does get the stun on that Cigar as well at the moment, say.
Yeah, definitely that stun on the Cigar. That's the most crucial stun that you wanted to get out there. Because the Cigar can actually go for pushbacks and for increased cooldowns, which is not possible for a whole turn right now.
Yeah, we know the Villager right now can put the defense break on, but Praha hopefully will be cycling soon, so she can obviously heal up any of the damage that's coming through right now. Say, what's the winning factor for you?
I would definitely say the moment that the Praha gets a sleep up, the moment that all of the units don't have any form of immunity. Plus the armor breaks, those definitely do help out a lot. On the other side, how to win is definitely trying to get that Villager back online and stunnings. Like, the moment that the stun is there on a lot of these units, but we have this Moor taking, once again, additional turn against a whole bunch of units with defense break that's gonna do so much damage. But we have the Praha taking a Daydream right now, which is definitely going to reset all of the HP bars on the side of Guts. But everything is kind of stuck, like, so many things took a turn, but no one took a turn over there, until Cigar took a turn.
And he managed to get a cool time onto that Villager, and he's gone off the field right now. Sekhmet with that skill 3, maybe looking to cool time on the Chandra, so that he can't do any of the defense or slows.
Yeah, it was definitely all about that Praha. The moment that the Praha could get the skills off at the right time, and that's the dangerous thing, like, in the end, you had to lock down the Cigar that the Cigar doesn't take any turns, because the Cigar would do the same thing to you. But if you let the Praha through and the Praha does her thing, it's pretty much the same thing. It's going to be AoE CC, AoE healing, and a speed buff.
I didn't actually mention it before, sir, because I took it off of my stats because Praha hadn't actually played enough sets to qualify for our statistics, but she was actually also on around an 80% win rate, having played 10 matches in the Summoners War European League. So when she is picked and she can get her sleep off, get the strips in, she obviously does a lot of work for this team, and especially in this case against Guts right now. How do you think Rexas is going to change things up for this next set?
Yeah, it's definitely, he is gonna be having that Light Monkey right now, so probably can draft around having that Light Monkey in there. But I would say that the Hey Gang definitely is a very strong unit, but the moment you lock it in the first position and your enemy is pretty much drafting a semi-bruiser slash semi-speed comp where they reset your cooldowns, the Hey Gang is not gonna be doing that much. So, sure, the Hey Gang is very strong, but favoring him that much to pick him first is not always the right way to play, I think.
Yeah, he's decided to pre-ban it out so that Guts can't play with it during this match. And Guts deciding to take away the obvious good speed lead that is in the game. We've got Escher as well in the first pick there for Guts the Berserk. We know how much he likes to use that unit.
Yeah, this is definitely a position where Rexas probably wants to be looking at where can he lock in that Light Monkey. And Guts has to keep that in mind. Anything he would draft, he has to keep in mind that Light Monkey can probably be picked at any moment. So if you go too slow on units right now, which Guts kind of is signaling, that Light Monkey is very likely to be picked at any moment.
Let's see if Rexas does go along from what you said right there. Guts decided to lock in the Smicer and the Villager, so maybe it's an answer to a potential Kitan Dasheng with more immunity for that 3 turns, which could be huge. Rexas right now following it up. Will we see a Monkey?
Yeah, Monkey could be a thing. However, he mostly likes to pair the Monkey with that Moor, so he can't go it in this position, so maybe that's locked out already. Definitely can go for some Bruiser style for himself, so going in for the Gapsu and going in for the Fire Monkey. Definitely very strong units over there. Oliver and Praha though, I'm not too sure about the Oliver, because the Oliver in the end can't really do all too much against that Fire Monkey, neither can the Praha. So in this whole draft you're already saying I have to get rid of that Fire Monkey in the ban, otherwise I can't play properly. So in this position, if Rexas finds another unit where he can simply ban out the Praha, I think the Fire Monkey or that unit that he's gonna be locking in the 5th can win him the whole game.
He's looking instead at that Volantis right now. So obviously with the Gapsu on the field as well, any of the healing from a Praha would boost him up as well. We've got the ban on that Praha and the Volantis. Speed leads for both of these guys, Rexas and Guts the Berserk. It's that Summoners War European League playoff day 1, round 2 match, 4 set 2 between both of these guys. That Ishe is going to be boosting up, but Gapsu has something to say about that.
Yeah, that's always an interesting interaction to see. Ashe is boosting out the whole team, so Gapsu on the enemy team takes a turn. In this match, once again, we're definitely going to be looking at Fire Monkey. How long does it take for the Fire Monkey to get the stacks up? And does Guts actually have enough to actually prevent the Fire Monkey? Sure, you can be dropping bombs, you can be trying to drop stuns, but it doesn't work on the Fire Monkey. And in the end, the only damage I could see is an armor break from this Valajul into an Asher skill 3, but other damage is not really going to be there on the Fire Monkey.
You have to set things up for that as well, and that's why Cigar right now with his skill 3 is going to be looking to potentially put a cool time already into the side of Guts Berserk and gets it with that Oliver right there. Chandra can follow up, but like you said, he needs Monkey to start stacking up.
Yeah, it's absolutely the Monkey that starts stacking up, and I do like it where he doesn't go for a defense in this position, because in the end, Guts hasn't really shown where he's gonna be dropping in the damage. So you're not entirely sure, and Guts would definitely drop in the damage to something else than you would have had defended at that moment. So also he's deciding not to drop in the skill 3 at the moment where he had the armor break. So in this position, it's definitely going to be looking quite dangerous to see where Guts can actually lock in the damage, because Ash's skill 3 will take quite a bit of time to actually get back online right now.
Yeah, stacking up those bombs on the Gapsu at the moment right now. Obviously the silence against that Chandra means that he can't do any defending or hugging on any of the units right now. Does he land a defense break into that Oliver? Not yet.
Not yet, but we have another chance to getting that defense break. Does get it this time, and the Monkey is already on a very fast pace, where he will be lapping enough. But we first give a turn to Gapsu. Ooh, not yet.
Gapsu not quite being able to cut in through there. Smites are having a lot of additional turns at the moment, and it's helping to try and contain that cigar at the moment.
Yeah, definitely the Smicer is doing a lot of work, and maybe that's one of the few units that can actually contain it for a little bit, and that's also what Rexas is focusing on to. And he does actually manage to take it out without having too much armor breaks, but we still have the Gapsu on the field. So let's see if the Gapsu plus the Monkey can do this at a later moment.
Let's find out. He is silencing Gapsu right now. Doesn't matter anyway, because of that passive. He's going to come in with the additional turn. He's going into that Village and does get the stun.
Does get the stun, but in the process also the Monkey has been silent, so there's no armor breaks from that Monkey anytime soon, but we do have to defend, and we have a bunch of slows being landed.
Yeah, Monkey coming out. Do you get a stun? He does get the stun on the Smite. It's not going to be too effective against the passive, but taking more damage out against it could be the answer.
Yeah, definitely could be the answer. Plus the slows on the side of Guts is definitely not helping him, whereas the Monkey starts getting faster and faster. Ooh, tries to push back the Monkey. Did get it on the Monkey, did not get it on the Chandra.
No, he has the chance now to take out that Smiter from the skill 1 of the Chandra. Boosting up, and every time he boosts up, Gapsu's coming in and hoping for a stun.
Yeah, hoping for a stun, but also just a lot of damage and that slight bit of healing that he does every time. But yeah, this Monkey, even against speed buffs right now, it's just so fast. So definitely will try to get the armor break in. Ooh. Does get the armor break, but soon will be cleansed off most likely.
Definitely, but can Gapsu look to get a stun there at the moment, say?
Ooh, Gapsu did not get the stun over there, so we do have a little bit of immunity going in there. But there's not too much healing going on the side of Guts right now, with the Monkey being that fast.
Yeah, and obviously with that Monkey being fast and being there just on the field, if he can't land a defense break before an S3 from an Esche, the damage isn't going to be probably enough.
Yeah, and Oliver tried to push back that Monkey, tried to get the Valajul to live a little longer. In the end, did not work out, and in this position, there's absolutely no way that you will take out this Monkey.
No, the Monkey is online, rocking and rolling. Does he look to land a defense break? Doesn't, but look at the amount of damage coming out through that Monkey now.
Yeah, there's just so much going on for that Monkey, and once again, we've seen if there is a bruiser fight where the bruiser fight takes pretty long, Monkey will win those.
Yeah, Monkey doing monkey business things, this time in the hands of Rexas instead of Guts of Berserk, and it wasn't the usual Monkey that we see in Rexas' hands, but it was the Meihu Wang as well. I think it's slowly becoming, in our playoffs, kind of the most contested units there. Do you think we'll see it in this next set?
I definitely do think like any bruiser fight kind of ends up with the Monkey having the upper hand. So the moment that you get somewhere into a bruiser fight, locking in that Monkey relatively early seems good.
Yeah, it seems good. Let's see if they're listening, and maybe they'll take that into account in our set number 3. It is currently 1-1. Remember, folks, this is a best of 5 at the moment. So 2 more wins, and they will guarantee their spot in tomorrow's action, where we'll be then going into some best of 7 matches between these players. Pre-bans coming in. Maybe a respect ban on that Praha right now, and the Khitan Dasheng as well.
Yeah, the Praha pre-ban is actually pretty interesting, but I definitely do think that it's a good ban against Guts. The question is going to be, is he going to go for that Heigang once again? Because in the end, the Heigang last match around for him didn't do all too much, so let's see.
Yep, it is his first answer at the moment, and Guts replying with what Rexas had in that second set right there, say, with the Cigar and the Chandra. Deadly combo.
Absolutely deadly combo, but the question is Rexas going to go back to what he did in the first round? No, he's actually going to switch things up quite a bit, but he's looking at a lot of setup. The big question is going to be, what is going to be his follow-up that is actually going to be the heavy damage units?
Yep, Smicer coming out on the side of Guts of Berserk. We know how crucial those silences and landing those bombs can be. Rexas' response in the last round was obviously the Gapsu. We've got Velajul partnered with it on the side of Guts of Berserk.
Oh, those are definitely dangerous units. Rexas could be looking at once again that Fire Monkey, or he can go for the route where he says like, okay, I'm guaranteed to outspeed. I have my 2 AoE strippers locked in already. I go for some proper pushbacks. Could be like a Charlotte, could maybe even be like a Teo or something like that, but decides to go for a bruiser route as well.
Yeah, are we going to see a monkey in that last pick, say? Are we? Are we? No, going for a Chungpong instead.
Going for a Chungpong instead, so it's kind of a bit half-half. I would have rather have him see like either go 2 bruiser units at the end or 2 AoE CC units at the end. A little bit of a half-half. I'm not too sure if it's that great, because in the end, Guts is actually taking one of those units that I expected on the side of Rexas right now.
Yeah, Charlotte coming out to play on the side of Guts the Berserk. Maybe it signals that he needs to be banned out. Say, we're going to be going into those bans. Who do you favour?
I would say the Chungpong and the Charlotte both are favoring for the bans, because those are the kind of units that will probably lock down the enemy.
Yeah, and the moment that you can lock down your enemy, it's going to be smooth sailing, hopefully, for one of these guys through our set number 3 to get that extra victory, to take it to a 1 vantage point. They're taking all of the time right now to make sure they're making the exact decision that they need. Chungpong and Charlotte have been banned out. We've got the speed leads of Moore and Chandra coming through in our Summoners War European League playoffs day 1, round 2, match 4, set 3 between Rexas and Guts the Berserk.
Yeah, let's see. We definitely have a first turn going to Rex right now, but once again, it's a first turn that we have been talking about a few times. It's first turn, but afterwards, nothing really happens all too much. There's probably not enough damage to be able to snipe something, and from there, the enemy might be able to take things over, because we have the Chandra moving afterwards, we have the Cigar moving afterwards, we have pretty much everything moving afterwards. This additional turn, can you actually take it out? Does not manage to take it out. And for that reason, you can go for the Hog. There's just a lot of things going on, and Guts can definitely go online. He has to be careful with actually giving a turn to that Moore when the Moore is not provoked. Is provoked right now, does get the armor break in as well. And then there's going to be a lot of slows on the side of Rexas.
Yeah, looking for those slows on the side from Guts the Berserk, increasing the attack bar for all of it. Obviously, Velagil not looking super healthy right now, but that skill 2 will be able to provide a little bit of healing, and Smicer with that skill 1 a little bit more.
Yeah, quite some healing, but also look at the amount of debuffs on Gapsu. Gapsu was definitely, if that Gapsu was any other unit that would have been able to take out or CC any kind of things on the side of Guts, it would have been so much more beneficial than a Gapsu in this position.
Yeah, definitely had the opportunity, and the Gapsu couldn't quite snipe out that Velagil, and right now, putting the immunity up for 3 turns and now being able to heal a little bit more and even get rid of that Gapsu very, very soon.
Yeah, definitely one of those drafts where I would say, like, okay, either if you go like 2 bruiser units, it maybe could have done something, but you were really set up to go AoE CC. And the moment that you really set up to go AoE CC, but then at the end you're saying like, no, I'm not too sure about my CC potential, and then go back to a bruiser style, that's where you get those kind of matchups where you just have one unit that can't really snipe anything, it's kind of bruisering, but then the enemy takes over in a turn 2 kind of CC comp.
Yeah, and it's exactly what Guts the Berserk is doing right now. He's changed the tide for himself, managing to get the defense breaks onto that Peshe, just getting pushed back and just being chipped away right now. So obviously, like you said, kind of, so you need to stick to your guns maybe a little bit in the drafting phase, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because if that Charlotte was picked next to that Chungpong, those 2 units would have been able to push back everything, and then it would have been a lot of work. And then the Heigang made a lot more sense, because then it's actually a proper setup. Whereas now Heigang is often drafted into, I want a bruiser with Heigang. Like, Heigang is more a force into like, okay, they AoE CC, and therefore I Heigang. But in this case, Heigang is forced too much, and then I feel Heigang is not that strong.
Yeah, it's proven right there. Guts managing to take out Rexas in that set number 3. From the last round, there obviously was the Praha band out and the Kitan Dashing. Could have been a good answer for that CC as well at the end there. Say, like you were saying, if the strips would have all gone through on the side of Rexas. It is going to be in his box for this next set right now, but let's find out who they're going to be banning in this set. Who do you like for the bans?
It's interesting to see if Rexas goes back again to banning that Heigang. I would say banning the Heigang is pretty good for him still, because the moment that he wants to play the Light Monkey, it's better to not have a Heigang played against him. So for that reason, I definitely can see his fear of the Heigang, so it could be looking at that. But let's see, they do actually go for it, yeah.
Yeah, Heigang and Moore being taken out right now in this set number 2. So yeah, 2 sets ago, it was Escher first picked on the side of Guts the Berserk. Do you think it's something that is going to continue? Or the Cigar, which he was doing against Tito Gofflet?
I definitely do like the Escher once again, because it's kind of disabling Rexas to be able to go for a Light Monkey draft. And what's like the same thing that I said at the start of these matches is where Guts can force Rexas into a bruiser setup. Guts is most likely in the upper hand, whereas if Rexas can force in a CC kind of comp, then Rexas in the upper hand. And in this case, Guts is doing very good work in forcing into those bruiser fights.
Yeah, let's find out if he can change things up then, Rexas. This is the moment to pivot if he's going to say it, obviously. Pick 3 and 4 in this position, and you can maybe change things. There was a Smicer and a Velajoule on the side of Guts the Berserk. We've seen a lot of these units being used today. Gapsu, the response as well. This time with the Marsha to get that snipe out.
Yeah, I definitely do like the Marsha, but in the end, Marsha is not really a unit that can instantly snipe out any of those units. So we're definitely going to be looking at a bruiser fight once again. We have the Praha being locked in, and we do know that Guts' bruisering style is just incredibly strong.
Yeah, it is. Praha. Oh, we've getting Kinky potentially coming out as well, favoured by the French-speaking players in our Summoners War European League.
Yeah, definitely an interesting pick over here. Once again, Kinky, it is nerfed to the point where it doesn't do as much for the passive, but the skill 1 into skill 2 potential is still very strong boost. I definitely do like that pick over here, but that's probably also signaling a Praha ban, but I do expect the booster to be banned.
Let's find out. It is the mind games. Obviously, you want to be trying to ban out the people, the monsters at the end of the draft. Hopefully, you've drafted well enough that you can already respond to what is on the field in front of you. That is kind of the best advice that we can give you guys. We're getting the Praha band out and we're getting the Cigar band out in this case. So we are going to be having the speed lead most likely coming out from the side of Chandra on Rexas and resistance lead from the Smicer going into this matchup. It's our playoffs, day 1, round 2, match 4, set 4 between Rexas and Guts the Berserk. Guts the Berserk could advance if he wins this set, say Yapsu is calling.
Yeah, Gapsu is taking that turn, but the resistance lead is pretty interesting because the damage is going to come from that Marsha. Marsha with an armor break, that's going to be the damage potential for Rexas. But is he going to be able to actually properly land that? That's going to be the big question.
Yeah, and with that immunity on the side from the Velajoule, it's going to take 3 turns to even get that chance at the moment, say.
Yeah, definitely a lot of stuff going on the side of Guts right now, and not so much stuff going on the side of Rexas, but we do have a whole bunch of shields and some protection coming in.
Yeah, I think this could be a bit of a longer one, folks. Get ready, strap your seatbelts in as Chandra is going to be looking to use that skill 3, just boosting up the attack bar. There's immunity on the side.
I'm not too sure about not placing a defense right now because that armor break, the moment your armor break isn't gone, Ashe still had that skill 3 in. So that's a lot of damage going into that Gapsu.
Managing to get the defend out now, at least, though, say, but let's see if it can go through it.
Oh, that's definitely a very crucial stun on that Velajoule. Definitely absolutely something you want to see. Now the Marsha can finally go in with some skills. Did already use the skill before that, so it's not going to be happening anytime soon. But we have the Smicer coming online more and more. There's less and less immunity on the side of Rexas, and that's where the Smicer becomes so strong. And we get a lot of damage from that Kinky as well.
Kinky managing to get the defense breaks on that Chandra every time as well. Gapsu is going to be pushed up from the Escher, but is this the opportunity?
Oh, the Marsha double resisted once again, fighting that resistance from the Smicer. However, this is the potential that you can actually take out the unit. You can simply go for skill 1, that will definitely kill in this position. But Rexas isn't 100% sure about it. He does do it.
Yeah, he manages to take it out right now. Not so much immunity on the side of Rexas right now, so bombs could be going to be landed. Resisted, though, from that Gapsu.
Double resisted. In this position, do you want to take Marsha off the beast, or do you gonna tumble in all of the damage elsewhere? Tumbles in all of the damage elsewhere, but doesn't get the kill, gets the additional turn, managed to kill the Gapsu.
Yeah, managing to kill there as well. Obviously, it's happened before where a Marsha, if you don't take her off that beast and she's still there, that defense break can come back around.
Yeah, definitely the defense break can come back around, but we still have a Smicer on the enemy side, and that Smicer takes the additional turn, gives a 2-turn silence to the enemy Marsha. So that Marsha is not going to be taking any defense breaks anytime soon.
No, and Guts of Berserk is very much in the driving seat right now against both of these silence units. They've got nothing to answer for, they just can't speak.
Yeah, that's the strong thing about Smicer. Even if the Smicer is stunned, it's still going to be landing the pushback, the potential strip, the silence of 2 turns. Smicer is just such a unit right now where it also lands the healing, the bombs, so much things going on. And definitely those bruiser fights are very in the favor of a Smicer player.
Guts the Berserk taking the match win against Rexas right now. The lower ranking in terms of our Summoners War European League days there, say, but he has managed to overcome Rexas, which he did in the league days anyway as well with a 2-0, this time with a 3-1 against Rexas. Very much like what we said at the beginning there, say. There was a lot of bruiser, but in the instances where Guts could kind of really use his magic, it worked for him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Guts worked it really well that he forced Rexas into those bruiser fights, because Guts knows he likes to play those bruiser fights. Whereas Rexas, he likes to play that light monkey, but in the end he didn't have a single fitting draft where the light monkey actually did fit. Like the draft where he had the Hay Gang, the Asher, the Moor, that's where Light Monkey would have really fit. However, the Light Monkey was banned at that moment as a pre-ban, so he couldn't use it at that position. So definitely very well played by Guts.
Exactly. That is the difference, obviously, when you're playing in these competitions, right? Say, like an SWC or a European League in this case. There is those pre-bans. You can figure out what you want to face off in that first set, knowing that in the second set, a strong LD might come against you, and you can look to try and answer that to the best of your abilities. Obviously, both these guys streaming as well, so they know each other as well. They know exactly how they like to play, and in this case, you can see that Gutsubers got the upper hand over Rexas in this case. Veladjul winning more matches. I'm going to have to check what his stats are at the end of this match, say as well. But Smicer, how important were those silences?
Yeah, absolutely. Smice is doing so much, and I definitely also do think that in the end, like, we have a very meta where a lot of people say, like, oh, Heigang is like the strongest unit out there. I would say if you see a Heigang that early, and which Guts did very well, you can counter it very well by just going Bruiser into it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the confirmation there. Guts of Berserk is going to be joining us in tomorrow. Again, commiserations to Rexas, another player that we'll probably see some point at the end of the year as well, say, I'm pretty sure. But for all of you guys with us right now, obviously, you're not going to leave here empty-handed. You know, we're nice. We want to give you some things. This time, we do have a coupon code for you. We'll have one both today and tomorrow. And it is actually slightly improved from the league days as well. So you will have a little bit more. And you should be able to see it right below you as well right now. I think, if I remember right, it was Playoffs Rock. Playoffs Rock.
You're very much correct with that.
Yeah, it should be posted in chat from our moderators as well. So get yourself onto the game, get your 5 mystical scrolls and your 200k mana as well. Hopefully you might get a Smicer or a Mei Wang inside one of those picks. It's not guaranteed. I'm not going to say anything more, but hopefully you'll get something nice. Let's see. Let's find out. Let us know if you did get anything in chat as well. We're always excited to hear all about that. Saying that is actually our league day 1 will be coming to a close very soon. How did you find today?
It was very interesting to see all of those players playing more than just 2 matches. It's definitely like a little bit different style. And you can see like matches going back a little bit, like match 3 could look like match 1, match 4 look like match 2. But it's definitely also nice to see them have a little bit more of a try and back and forth to see who's actually going to win, rather than getting draws.
Exactly. You can see already how it's looking for tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow we're going to be here at 2 o'clock European time, or European summer time. We do have a Barbo, Pinkroyd, Pathic, and Guts the Berserk joining us in that playoffs day number 2. And we're bumping up the matches. We're going from best of 5s to best of 7s. So there's plenty more action to get involved with and watch. And hopefully there'll be some really exciting things that happen. Obviously, say, best of 7, slightly different from a best of 5. What are you expecting for tomorrow?
Yeah, best of 7s. We actually never really seen it in any tournament setup. So I'm pretty curious to see if it's going to go all the way towards best of 7s. In the end, we have had a very repetitive thing today where everything was 3-1. No one went out without a lose, but no one also took it all the way to best of 5. Are we going to see matches that are going to take it all the way to best of 7s? Or are we going to see a lot of like 4-2s or 4-1s or maybe even 4-0s? I think 4-0s we're not really going to see. We looked at the leaderboards earlier, and actually no one is above 50% win rate during the league days itself. So that's definitely interesting. So we can actually see that all of those players are very close to one another in just drafting, rune quality, monster box, everything like that. So I do think we're going to get some pretty lengthy matches tomorrow. And we're going to see all of the 4 biggest names tomorrow duking it out.
Yeah, exactly. It's all very exciting here. Everything over the past 7 weeks has been leading up to this moment. Well, not this moment. Tomorrow's moment at 2 o'clock. Set your alarms. Set everything on your calendar. You need to be here at 2 o'clock. We're back here again on Seishi's Twitch channel, or if you're joining us from the YouTube link as well, we will be on Comtours Europe as well. It's going to be from 2 o'clock, and we're going to have all these best of 7s. A Barbo, Pinkroyd, Guts the Berserk, Pathic. They've managed to take out 8 of the current Summoners War European League players, being all the rest of them. They're left with the chance now to try and grab their hands on the medals and the cash prize. It's 10,000 euros that's going to be split between them, say, and they're going to be really looking forward to that. I'm sure they might be nervous, a little bit of homework. Would you be able to sleep tonight?
Well, you always have to get a little bit of sleep. That's always recommended.
It is. You can see those medals right in front of you, which is what they're going to be playing for. Remember, 2 o'clock tomorrow. we'll see you here. And if we don't see you, where the hell are you? Thank you for watching, guys. Ciao.
See you tomorrow.